Yeah. Better know my head, but I don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Most wanted kennels in the spotlight, danger alert, come with the name. Super Kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work Kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline, where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp, when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, just that real y'all grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the pit bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Veer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah, the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same ground, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legs in the doom, behind set tone. Locked, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. Fruit colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game bill, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down, ram in the dark. DSK and Metal, high dog, pound by hard. When they hit, praise to the men who rock this shit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they live it.
Fat boy the legend, Lil Buster, real strong, Southern bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like a Sherman tank. Little fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary, really the shit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it. That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends. Everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bull shit, 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 pit bull shit.
It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. LaMayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier. Champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. Be the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a Tudor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. Be the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Made a buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching out, so maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it. Ooh.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Rob, 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 rob. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cars. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turned. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the gang, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec is 6. Yes, yes. Yeah. Tom, Dick, Tom, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low, tight, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah, I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
What up? What's up? Hey, fellas. What up? Yo, big shout out to everybody. Big shout out to everybody. Y'all know what time it is. It's Talk Shit Tuesday. Yep. I ain't have enough room to put it in the damn title, so I just thought I'd get it in. You know what I'm saying? Hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Hey, don't forget, fellas, you know, we're finna jump on this bus right quick. We're going to be jumping on this bus, and I got to get my shout-outs out the way. Big shout-out to all my people out there on the back street. Big shout-out to all my peoples in the Shark Tank. You know, I got to do a roll call. Got to get that out the way real quick and early here. Big shout-out to my man, Mr. Carlos Lee. What up, fam? Dana, what up? I see you, fam, coming in holding down in the Shark Tank. My man, Mr. Paul Johnson. What up, fam? This is legendary, my man. So now, Mr. Will Turner in the house. What up, fam? My man, Mr. John Denver. What up, fam? Big shout out. My man's in there. Showing that mad love. Getting the deck ready. Mr. Guy Ghostin. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Archie Fuller in the house. What up, fam? PTBJ. What up, though? I see you, fam. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Carlos Regis. What up, fam? Hey, fellas, appreciate y'all showing up. We're going to do it. This show going to be basically like a part 2 because, you know, we showed you the early parts of the shit of the 90s and some of the great dogs. But, you know, we always got to get into and save the best for the last because, you know, that's, you know, that change we talk about, you're going to be able to see it, even though we're going to run through it. But that's more like when, you know, the schooling period was over for us. You know what I'm saying? It was time to take what we was kind of gathering up and get out there and put it to the test. So then you think about it, fellas. Look at the people over the lifetime in these dogs that we have had the pleasure of meeting. And it's a whole lot of them. And for us, you know, when we sit here and we do this show, it ain't for us to try to brag and boast on not a damn thing that we have actually done, for real. It's almost impossible for you guys to kind of even look at us like that, only because of listen to the people that we're talking about. There's not none that I could actually say that I was on their level. No, it's impossible if you just stop and think about the people we talk about. But just having the experience and look at that from my age, and I'm not no young motherfucking chicken. Come on now. We might do young dumb shit, but you know, we far from being young. So when we take y'all on this ride and tell this story, that's taking you back in a time period when we were young. And these are some people is younger than I am. Some of them are about the same age as I am, but they had been in them dogs before I was. So now we done stepped up our game and they put us to the test. You know, if you're gonna run with these people, you know what I'm saying? One thing we learned, you better have some good dogs. And when you get a chance to be put to the test by them same people who got you where you at, this is on you from here, twin. But they put it to a test. And I thought it was just a great test. Tonight that we beat the Legion of Doom on that big card and walked away with best in show. The opportunity was there, the right people were there, and we sure enough bought the right dog. And that was the beginning of something that was totally, you know, for a rise. So you got to see, we were already at a point that we were known in this dog game. judo and Mikey, they pretty much put that to the test, you know, and let that be known. You still have blood and BA out there. You know, so when you come in working that type of shit and then you learning along the way, shit. By the time we finished up with the Legion, we was just getting started. But that led us to, when I sit down and be thinking about all this and sharing these moments with y'all, we kind of try to get you into that time period. I don't want you to look at me like I'm some young ass kid. You know what I'm saying? If I say I'm 65 years old, that makes me an old ass man. I mean, I got kids and grandkids. So we are far from being, you know, somebody that we trying to be on the top of a list of anything. What we share with you guys is an experience, a true love. Trust me when I say this, because for me to say this, you got to really understand, and you should, if you've been with us all these years that we've been doing this, we don't change. But sometimes I really be thinking that, you know, motherfuckers really think that because we do this and how we do this, that there's something supposed to be weak in there. I think there's a whole lot of honor in it, because one thing that I told my people, the people that you hear us talk about, the ones that I'll call legendary, I got proof and receipts to prove they legendary. When I give room to give people that kind of respect, and all they ever ask us to do, and if anybody been in this game long enough, when somebody reach out and they try to help you along the way, I know damn well you heard them always tell you to pass it forward. I mean, I come from a land of, respect, honor, and if you're gonna be a G, you better be a G not just half the time, but all the goddamn time. And that's the way I handle life. But to be in these dogs and to be able to meet the people we were able to meet, we would have never been able to be, you know, around and do the things that we were able to do if it don't be just who we were. Maybe the way we carried ourselves. Maybe the way we took care of our business. Maybe because of the way how we treated people. Because I don't never felt like I had to be dishonorable, disrespectful, or ungrateful to a motherfucking soul when it came to me taking care of my business. Business is business. I keep trying to press that on everybody. You know, doing this shit here, like doing anything else you was doing in the street, you do anything less than that, you're responsible for the shit that you find yourself in, and you better figure out a good way how to get out of it. So if you're taking care of your business, really, taking care of your product, really, you know what I mean? I always look at dogs in the business world as a product that you fell in love with, like a pair of shoes. How much I'm going to take care of this expensive pair of shoes type of shit. Now you hearing this come from a young man that's old. And if I'm going to pass it forward, I'm going to pass it forward because I have, first of all, me and my brother don't have no reason to sit up here and waste our time trying to be something other than who the fuck we are at 65 fucking years old. I think, you know, just doing this shit right here and being able to try to just, you know, make it entertaining to the point to where sometimes I got to put in some fucking work. But I'm going to still carry it like it just is who we are. I'm going to try to do the best out of it. And, you know, like I said, I love my music. You know what I'm saying? Me and Mo did this shit because we just do shit like that. But it's supposed to be entertaining and try to just get our point across how serious we are about what we say and what we do. So don't take this information as if we got to make it entertaining by trying to be something that we're not. I hope my interpretation to a lot of my audience when it comes to, first of all, we twins. Second of all, sometimes I think they forget how old we really are. And at what point, just watching us over the last 4 years, that we could be looked at in any other way but who we are. We just the twins. Y'all should know it's the difference between me and him. If those who've been around here long enough, they already know how I talk and they should know how Mo talk. There's no changing nowhere along down through there. There aren't no cracks in our damn shield. This is supposed to be YouTube. Why would you get on here and try to be something that you're not? Talking dogs, especially the kind of dogs we talk about. That's why I try to get y'all on the bus, because I don't want y'all to get no interpretation of this as anything other than some fictional, entertaining, actually knowledgeable training shit. Because regardless of what you do with that dog, you're going to always have to learn how to do something that's going to make that dog perform as if that's what it is, a real American Pit Bull Terrier. If you're trying to show him off, you still got to put in that work. You get a lot of information on how to put that work in. But as far as the history of these dogs, come on now, with these dogs, we wouldn't be talking about these dogs if these dogs didn't have a history. And when people say the dark side of the history, I'll be wondering, when did it get dark? If you think about how long this shit been going on, the dog is still around. Future is still up to the people with the dogs. That part right there, I try not to even get into, because again, this is a different time with a lot of different things going on, like social media. And God, I mean, we might have been dumb back in the day, but I don't think we were that dumb. Yeah, we had a journal, and everybody know how the journal got by. But this Facebook shit, this here is and this Telegram and all the shit that people do is almost like they treat it as if dog fighting is legal. You know what I mean? And I don't think we was that bad, y'all. I swear I don't think we was that bad. You know what I'm saying? I think because of the abundance of how many people and what kind of people was getting into this game, that had a big bearing on everything. You know what I'm saying? But in total, on a total outlook, when we sit back and we look over that time period, remember, it wasn't all about the dogs for us either. We didn't just live dogs, fellas. We had normal lives, children, families, wives. But we weren't the only ones. I guess it's been like that throughout the whole damn existence of this game. Everybody still had lives. But to be dedicated to these dogs, as so many were, and so many will be, there's got to be some type of love. And it might sound crazy, but man, let me explain something to you. You love these dogs like in the military, they taught us to love a rifle. This rifle became my best friend. I mean, I cleaned him, took him everywhere I went, talked to him, tell him, shoot straight, baby, I need you. This is how much you love that damn rifle by the time they got done with you. So understand when you say, damn, twin, tell me you ain't love that dog like that. Tell me you can't. That's my point. Tell me that you can't. When you're willing to put in that work, you're going to try to get the best, and you want to see the best out of your animal. And they are some of the most lovingest animals, and they will give you your best. And I respect all the dog men, regardless of what we was doing and how we did it back in the day. I know that was always going to be their intentions. Maybe that's what made them great, legendary. Because they really understood the value of what they cared for so much. Remember, you don't have to worry about the loss until the loss happens. And how many times you've seen it just in the last show, some of them dogs that took them losses and came right back and picked up their championship. These things was possible in the game. These things happen quite frequently in the game. But then I speak of that from my standpoint of my part with the people that I was around and my interpretation of what I've seen for myself, our experience. So that's what we try to share with y'all as you take this ride. You know what I'm saying? To understand why we do this, to get hold of listening to what was reality for us. And then put yourself in that time period. Your love of your dog can only be measured by you. But your love for the knowledge of the game is why you're here. Because let that be the truthful part of why you're sitting here. Not just because you like hearing it, but you're learning something from it. You might see something that you didn't know. And then it just might be intriguing. But whatever you get out of it, try to understand the love of the dog, the love of the community, to just even want to sit here and do this. And I say that to say this to you guys. I'm not a young kid saying this. And I do accept and respect the fact that I can sit here and say this and look back on that time period and say that was one of the funnest times I ever had in my life. Based on the people I met and the places I was able to go and the things I was able to see. That's just another big part of my life that I could sit back and say, damn, I had a ball. And that's all we're trying to share with y'all, because we ain't talk about the rest of my life. We talk about this part right here. American Pit Bull Terrier. And I'm going to turn this over to Mo, because we're going to pick up where we left off. And, you know, this has always been my funnest part, because this is when the things began to change, really change, and we were a part of it. All the schooling and all the other dumb shit is out of the way. And you're going to be able to see how quick this game grew and how we were able to grow with it. So, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let me see if I can pick up anybody else in here before I get started here. Big shout out to my man, the Hardway Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to Yo, my man, the intern Honey Badger. What up, fam? I see you. Tron Raw. What up, though? I see you, fam. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Jason Clark. What up, fam? Cast. What up, fam? My man, to pipe down and shake that like button. My man, double them Despos in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Charles Richardson in the house. What up, fam? Let me see. Big shout out to my man, the legendary. This is not J-Bo, a.k.a. J-Bo in the house. What up, fam? Yo, big shout out to my man, Mr. Eric Lacey. What up, cuz? Again, man, appreciate you guys coming out. But let's sit back and take this ride right quick. Let me find out homeboy in the house. Hey, Mo, you in the house? Mo. I guess. Hey, Mo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
God damn, man. With you across the room or something?
What happened? Y'all heard me when I crashed?
What you mean crash? No, I had you on because I heard you rolling up. You was rolling up something, so I heard the little. So I put your ass on mute.
No, I was moving something real quick and it fell. Sorry about that, everybody. I thought it was on mute.
I didn't hear it. It was on mute.
Okay. What's up, everybody? What up, J-Bo? What's up, Pit Dog? I see y'all, Burning Star. I see you.
I missed them. Big shout out Vernon Starr. Pit Dog. Pit Dog. What up, my brother from another mother? Simplify, baby. Go ahead, Mo. I know you're finna take them on this ride, so I'm gonna sit back, you know what I mean, and do my little roll thing, okay?
Okay. Well, we're just gonna pick up from where we left off at. We got a big gap here from last show. You know, we did the 90, 91, 92. You know, for those who saw that show, you know, that was the beginning of, you notice the new names started showing up and the old names started disappearing. Okay. All I can say is from 94 to around 96, that gap there, 94, 95, 96, what you saw happening in 2002, it started increasing from 90. What you saw in 90, 91, 92 started increasing from 93 all the way up to 96. By the time they got up to 96, you have kennels like Gator Boys, Geno Boys, Cuban Missile Link started popping up. The CCM, Lil Jeff and them, Mau Mau, Triple M and them were still out there. You start seeing the Wall Boys and the Plow Boys, Baltimore Ryan, them guys, the Jersey Boys, TKO, which you've seen a lot of him in the 90s, but you know, he started cranking up a lot more too. TKO, Hardcore Kennels, Stone City Kennels, Southern Kennels. You start seeing more Latinos hitting the scene. Triple H was in Tex-Mex and those guys, and Mex-Tex, you know, two different ones. Started seeing more involvement from those guys. Scratch Liners, Beach Boys. You know, Detroit was still holding strong. New York was still holding strong. Florida started picking up. Tennessee started picking up. You know, you started seeing a lot of new kennels. And the thing about the new kennels, the best way they were getting recognized was back then was because Jack was funny. Jack was funny. You know, you see sometimes where you see a recognized kennel 1 minute, and then the next time, it's, you know, you don't see the one and all that. And, you know, people was always thinking, you know, the man might have been prejudiced. He might not, you know, no, I don't think that was it. I mean, when you got so many people bringing in, I just know when he's going through that, you know, those reports, because remember guys are sending them in on paper, they're sending them in, no telling how he was getting them. That's a lot of damn mail. When you see that last show, did y'all see all them losers and winners that was going down in the 90s. We had pages of them. So just imagine, I know the man can't remember everything. I think he did the best he could. So sometimes, you know, he didn't do the recognition and Kennels that should have been recognized, and sometimes he did. You have to be in there enough where, you know, his memory was stuck on a lot, but he couldn't remember everything. You know, and I think he started slowly getting away from that, you know, because you probably had people talking shit about that. You know, you got me recognized in one match, but you don't got me recognized in this match, or you got me recognized as the referee in this match should have been classifying this. You know, that has a lot of effect to do with guys that's trying to come in, new guys that's trying to come in with these new kennels. You know, you ain't getting your recognition with the referee because Jack ain't putting a star there, you know, so you had all kinds of complaints that was going on. So I kind of think he kind of got away from that. You know, he started the A class, B class thing. That wasn't going to work long because they rather have no number by their name than to be in a B class. You had A class kennels showing up in B class, or, you know, how many kennels or A class do I got to go into before you take me out of the A class, win or lose? How many times do I got to be a referee, you know, and you know, in a B class to finally be able to get put in an A class? You know, just a lot of that was going on. But then you have so many matches that was going on. How could the man keep up? I don't think he had an office full of employees doing this, you know? So y'all have to understand that. And today what I'm going to do, what we're going to start off with, because I got a lot to go through, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of that part. Just getting y'all prepped up for the you know, the continuation and the gaps between 93 to really 99, because I don't have none of those Book of Champions. But I just named off a lot of those kennels that a lot of you guys look in your pedigrees, you'll find those guys in there. You know, a lot of them. And, you know, there's a lot of people you'll see in these books, guys, that you probably won't see in there, you maybe one or two times. You know what I mean? Not because they stopped reporting. Sometimes, you know, you lose enough, you have to start over. So you might see some of these kennels in there that was doing pretty good in the 90s, like 92. They were doing matches, and then the next time you see them again, it might be in 98. And the reason why it probably took them a lot to have to start over. If you out there trying to win and you can't seem to win, you know, it comes to a point when you're out there trying to, you know, create a yard. And back then it was starting to become guys that wanted to compete. Now you had different levels to competition. Now you had guys out there, you go to these other podcasts, you hear guys whining, you know, they had their circles, okay? And they didn't like to travel, you know, it's all the way you find good dogs here, but then also you can't, you know, you can't go complaining because you're winning with dogs in an area that has no competition. You can't go complaining when that is pointed out. You know, if it's pointed out because you refuse to travel, then you playing in an area that's you're feeling comfortable in. And you probably will become famous in that area based on the competition that you have in your area. But hey, we're not going to go downgrading you. It's not called downgrading because you got guys out there that's traveling looking for competition. You can't go asking yourself to be put up on that level there, or expecting to be put up on that level, or being offended when you have guys on that level that you don't fit. You got to be able to accept that. It's not our fault that you didn't travel. It's not our fault that you didn't seek competition. You was happy and content in your circle. It doesn't make you better than everybody else, and it doesn't make us better than you. The difference is the level. Know your place on the level. You didn't travel, you was in a circle. Period. Not taking nothing away from you. You can win in that circle. Okay? That's your competing circle. But there's a circle way bigger than the circle you was playing in. Accept your place in that, understanding that. You have to understand. A lot of guys had to understand that, especially in this time. Because when we go back through here and we go looking at some of these dogs and some of these people, you know, they might feel offended and be feeling like they should have been just as great as everybody else. When I'm sorry, there's just some levels that you were good in that area. You didn't travel. That's not our problem. It's not our fault. We traveled because we competed. You open your door and let some of these big guys come into your circle, then you're competing. But if you're not in that circle of that level of competition where guys are traveling to come and see you, being that you didn't travel, then that again, it's not their fault, that's your fault. They're not taking nothing away from your wins, not taking nothing away from your champions that you may have. It's just when somebody make the comment that, hey, you didn't travel and you didn't have competition chasing you. Don't get mad because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurt. It just make sure that when somebody's telling you that, it's somebody that's going to tell you something, that's doing it, and not somebody out there that want to point the finger at you and say, who did you go into? Well, what did you do? Let that be somebody out there who's doing something, shouldn't be feeling bad when somebody out here that ain't damn shit talking shit to you saying that. It may be true what he's saying, but who is he to complain about or try to put you down when he don't have nothing to stand on? You got a big ass named Kennel who 90% of the time gonna respect a dog, man. If you're just matching dogs against everybody on your block, he gonna respect the fact that you're jumping in the box. So 9 times out of 10, you won't hear a real true dog man say that to you unless you getting out of your place, to the point that he have to ask you, are you competing or are you only good in the section that you living in? You see what I'm saying? Only a true dog man can get away with questioning, making those kind of assumptions. You shouldn't feel bad when he comes to you because he's going to do it respectfully, unless you're out of control or you need to be put in your place.
He's going to bring a dog. He's going to bring a bulldog.
Because they're going to bring a bulldog. I mean, there's a lot of, hey, we tried to go in the back street choosing them several times back in our time. They really didn't travel. But there was always a reason why we never got that hook on. And it's a known fact that we traveled. So you can't use that as an excuse. Not trying to put them down, but we wanted to compete. And when you're trying to compete, you're trying to pick out the people that, you got friends over in that area. They turning us on to them. Boston Black and all. I knew all them. How I know them? Because I'm getting introduced to them. But could I bring a bulldog over there to go play? Maybe we never got that together. But back to Cruz, they still had great dogs. Jesse Rod had great dogs. They were having great dogs, but these are some of the guys that I know, didn't really like to travel.
And wasn't inviting us in. Wouldn't let us come in. We can't come play with none of that shit.
Right. So these are some of the things that I point out, to show. And a lot of those old timers kind of got out of there because of that too. A lot of old guys who even like they're doing the traveling or, had good dogs, knew the game was changing. And they created the matrix because they were going for the money. They would sell you their best dog for the right kind of money. You know, shoot, there was more dogs being bought out the box than it was guys going around buying puppies from breeders. There was guys literally buying dogs. How many times we done looked into these matches the last show and we seen one dog down the show here, but had 1 or 2 owners by the time he made champion. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's just how it was. And a lot of you had guys out there that had that money. They wanted to buy that dog, and sometimes that price wasn't a factor. We're talking about a time that, you know, I call it that New Jack era where, you know, if you was hustling in the street and you was involved in the dog game, you had money and you could do that. You could see a dog that you liked that you could buy right out of the box. Okay? I'm going to start with the 2000 yearbook, guys, because once I get in here, you know I'm going to be running. So we're going to be doing some traveling around. I want to get this started early and get it out the way so we can get there. Like I said, we didn't get them all. I didn't get, you know, we missed from 93 to 99. You know, and I do have the 99 year, but it's not the 99 yearbook. I have the actual journal. That was the year that Pretty Mama and Brat got their certificates. But there were other dogs in there. But we've been through those books before. You know, we have been through that 99, and I have shown you a lot of things in what was going on in 99. Okay, this is the year 2000 yearbook. This is the year that 9 Milli, Hardcore Kennels, 9 Milli made Dog of the Year. Another good dog. Can't take nothing away from her. She was that dog, you know, and I mean, that would be his second Dog of the Year, even though Doogie lost to Flash, Flash, you know, Hardcore had 2 Dog of the Year. Probably been on the yearbook runner-up several times, but he actually had 2 Dogs of the Year. Doogie and 9 Milli, after all those great dogs he didn't have, all those champions he had, 9 Milli is his first grand champion. That just tells you how hard it was to have a grand champion. And again, I did a show on that to show you there's not too many grand champion females out there after from 1972 all the way up to where we are right now back here at 2000. You know, we did a show on that showing you how many grand champion females it was. And if you want to know the truth, from 1972 all the way up into the 2000s, hey, it wasn't a whole lot of grand champions either. For that many years, a whole lot of doing dogs. You know, it was definitely still not a lot of grand champions. So let's take a look in 2000. Okay, I'm going to be moving quick because Mike's trying to get me to go through all the way to everybody. Okay, there's certain things that I want you guys to pick up as we go through these things. If you can see them, Mike, can you see that real good?
Yep.
Okay, as we go through that, I want y'all to pay attention to the kennels and the competition, the people, the referees, like the referees, not just the dog, but the referees, the people involved. See, those are all ranked kennels. You know, super kennels. Okay, and then look at the dogs and how they bred. Okay. See, this is where your history lies. You know, get familiar with it so as you go through them, you know, your mind, sometimes once you see something, you're going to see it several times, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Okay? There's one Abbott. He went on to become a grand champion. Through the books, you're going to see him becoming a grand champion. As you can see in his champion career, he went into some stiff competition. You know, you always hear me talking, you know, you hear Tennessee Dog Pound in one of our raps. Okay? Broadway Jack is, you know, who wouldn't want Jack Kelly to be the referee? That's an honor in itself. You know, for those who didn't think Al White didn't match dogs, big old Al White in company. Okay? You ain't gonna see no ones and no stars by the names in 2000. I think Jack was figuring that, you know, it was becoming a little bit of an issue because of the mistakes that he was making. Okay? Now we're going to go down here to Funky Town, Action Jackson. Action Jackson. Okay, you see Mr. Kim and Black Knight and Bobby. You know, you really don't recognize the Kennels, but you got, you know, it's in New York area because you got Mr. Kim there. Or that should have been Mr. K. It might have been Mr. Kim. Okay, but look at his pedigree. Nice bred dog, black dog, campaigned in the mid-southern states from 1998 to 1999. The H Brothers 2, that Adolf Spook, another good one. On this one here, you got the Ohio Assassin, then the other one up there above you, as you see, that's Ohio State Assassin. Then down here, you got Ohio Everett. So you notice you can almost tell who's traveling and who's not. Okay, you got Latin Rascal. You know, they was in the 80s. You know, Latin Rascals was in the 80s, and you know here they are still playing in the 2000s. We all know Gambler. We all know Triple H. You know, Triple H was active back then. And then you got Union Knight. That's in New York, Jersey area. You know, the dog had good time. 35 went 2 hours. You know, in the Beatdown Kennels. Beatdown Kennels was a pretty good kennel too. You'll find them a lot in the losing category, but they always had good matches. You know, some of these guys were just not lucky guys, but they was always going for the best competition, and you know, and they wanted more to be good competition than it was. It was more important than to win against great competition than it was for them to win against anything less. So they took a lot of chances, and they did a lot of moving around, trying to change up to get the right dogs. So, you know, I shout out to those kennels that try. You know, you find them a lot, and you won't probably see them in the champion category if they ever had one. But you will see them a lot under a lot of championships because they were literally going into the best to see if they could beat the best. So shout out to the workers. Especially those who wanted to compete. There's Ajax. Now y'all can look at Ajax and look at the people that he went into, and you don't see no major names. But he's down there in Texas too. But for some people who like to be pokey, you know, I want them to take a look at Ajax's record and tell me if you really know any of those guys. You see what I'm saying? But then you got to add Hargrove's Gus. You got to add Hargrove's Gus because he beat Hargrove's Gus for number 4, and then he beat Champion Noriega. His last 2 matches were against 2 great dogs. So even though it looked like he was, you know, he had a kind of a nice walk in the park, because some people could look at this who's in the game and say, well, Ajax really didn't beat shit, all this hype they had on him. Well, he beat Gus and he beat Noriega. Okay? So it wasn't like the competition that he didn't get. You know, it came later. But look how he's bred. Another great breeding. You know, some people scoff on that. You know, they might not say that about Ajax, but if you're looking at Ajax, but just the other day you was talking about somebody else and who did they go into and who did they whoop, you know? Now I put Ajax in front of you. What do you say about that? Would you put Ajax down? Or would you use the fact that he went into 2 champions that was definitely not living in his backyard? You know what I'm saying? And they were great dogs, and he beat them both. Even though he beat Noriega, and you know, it's not who he beat. It's not Noriega. It's not Ajax's fault that Noriega didn't come in shape. It's not Ajax's fault that Noriega's handler was a rookie. It's just too bad that, hey, the dog, between those 2 dogs, both dogs died. And the match didn't even go 40 minutes. It went a little over 40 minutes and both dogs died. That just show you what kind of competition that these dogs put down. Okay? So shout out to Ajax in Big Thicket, God rest his soul. Here's another one, Bandit. Look how Bandit's bred. I just want y'all to remember, don't forget to look at the production, the breedings. Remember, I always said most good dogs have good pedigrees. Look how Bandit is bred. Garner dog bred into some Jeep stuff. Grand Champion Pedro. When the last time somebody seen some Grand Champion Pedro in a pedigree? Yes, sir. I did go get, I bet you I got me a picture with Snake Man. Okay? Oh, he's definitely in my book. I got a chance to meet him. I enjoyed the time I spent with him, but I definitely haven't got my picture with Snake Man, just like I did with Bob Finley. Okay? Max Tex. You know, I don't know which one old dude was that had the podcast. I don't know whether he was Max Tex or Tex Mex. I've always asked that question. Mike, did you ever get an answer to that question?
He did answer. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but you see, as you can tell, guys, there's 2 of them. There's Max Tex and then there's Tex Mex. I don't know which one he was, but both of them were very active dog men. Both of them were very good dog men. For those who didn't know, both of them, Tex Mex and Mex Tex, was hellified dog men. So if he was one of them, he was one good dog man, and he had some good ass dogs. Same with Triple H.
I don't know if that's the same Triple H though. I wouldn't know.
There was some people call, you know, I heard some people say Triple J. Right. But Triple J was not the one that had the podcast. Triple H was.
Right.
And it was Triple H that got busted at the dog fight while he had the podcast. Not Triple J.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, then we got Barracuda there. As you can tell, Barracuda's from Florida. Look how he's bred. Another yellow dog. And as you can tell, it's not, you see missing link there, but No Name. Remember I told y'all, No Name had 2 great dogs. There was only a few people that had 2 Mayday dogs on their yards became great. No Name had Barracuda and No Name had May. In true reality, they ended up selling both dogs. So you can about imagine how much money was spent for those 2 dogs. Champion May and Barracuda. The only other one that I knew that had 2 Mayday dogs on their yard would have been Deep South. They had Luke Kane and they had Champion Twisted. No, we bred our dog, so we had 2 champion dogs on the yard. Would have been Brat and Little Mayday, but they were litter mates. None of these other dogs were litter mates. May was not Barracuda's litter mate, nor did they breed Barracuda or May. Neither did Twisted and Luke Kane. So, they had some great dogs on their yard. As you can see, Thug Kennels, Crossroad Kennels, Triple M. Look at the referees, Hurricane Kennels, Havana Chico, Super Nat. You can automatically tell what's going on. Fast lane dog, bulldog. You can almost look at it as we go through them. You'll know who's bulldog. And just like I was saying about Big Thicket, when you look at those last 2 of Ajax's matches, you got Hargrove and you got Noriega, a Mayday dog, champion, 2 champions. Hey, that's what you call him fast lane. Okay, let's keep it going. Here's another kennel that you guys will see. They came in strong. Had some good dogs. I don't know if they were from, they were like over there on the West Coast, but keep an eye on that Southern Blue Kennels. Southern Blue Kennels, they was there 1 minute and gone the next. But when they was there, they had good dogs. Look how they bred. These is bloodlines that you guys see out there in some of these dogs today. Okay, even when it comes down to the referee, JR and Triple H, like I said, there's a Triple J and there's a Triple H. Triple H was the guy who had the podcast. Okay, here we go with Word Kennels. Again, Word Kennels is the kennels who eventually ended up buying the Journal. Very good kennel, very good dog man. He had good dogs. Look how this one is bred. Ozzie Stevens. Imagine a red boy crossed with some Ozzie. Imagine that. That old monkey dust. I'm always yapping to y'all, always screaming and hollering. Amber's mother was monkey dust, Rhythm A's sister. So I'm always reminding everybody of that. Why? Because I can tell you that shit worked. If they had Yellow John dogs out there that was working, that shit right there was working. It worked for us, and it definitely was working for a lot of other people too. So I just want to always point that out. We were lucky to be able to get Amber when we did, and the things that Amber produced for us made definitely a lineage of legacy dogs out of what she produced for us. Here's another one right here, Octagon Big Red, another red boy dog. I mean, noticing the dogs is you keep seeing popping up. You're seeing a lot of red boy now going into the 2000s. Remember I told you the game changed. These red boy dogs started knocking off that Boyle shit, that rough ass Eli shit, or they was setting the mark. You're gonna see a lot of those dogs. Crunch Kennels, Northeast Kennels, those are pretty good. Drastic Impact, they was around a little bit, didn't stick around too long. Double D, Crunch Kennels, Grunt Kennels, they were good. They were good referees. But here's another one that they got here, like the Brunson dog and the Rattlers Champion Pearl. That's a good cross. That red boy cross though. Soul Man, Son Binky. Now imagine this one. Cherokee Chief, y'all, crossed with a nice ass Carver dog. Crossing with that low posse Buster, low posse's queen. You know, they got Morgan's queen, same thing. With that champion, Rammies champion Sassy. Straight Eli Bully Son cross. Low posse Buster was off of Bully Son. More Eli cross. I just like that Cherokee Chief up there at the top. You know, I like it. Look, it Bulldog Pete down there at the bottom. Oh, Lizzie. Went 1 hour and 3. That was a good one. Headhunter, he out of Florida. That was a good one. Raging Bull Kennel, they was a well-known kennel back then. The dog was a pretty good dog. 40 1 hour and 3, 38. Nice little female, went from 34 to 38. Hey, she was probably a rough little chick. But again, if you notice, you know, if you look at the bottom, you see what it says? Her first 2 shows were while she was being campaigned by Phantom Kennels. That was her first 2. Okay? I mean, she was bought out of the box. You know what I mean? Back then, they had the money, you know, hey, the right kind of money. Guess what? I won the match, but I came home with more money, you know, without and didn't come home with the dog. Yet I won. There go Jihad. You know, we always talk about Jihad over there at the Pentagon. Yeah, he had some bulldogs. He had some bulldogs, and he was matching dogs. You know, you got the Rochester Combine, them are people up there in the Washington, New York area. You got bus drivers and them, they down there in the South. You got Baltimore Lee. You know, them boys, they over there. You can tell this is a traveling kennel. American made. You know, they got Bar Cayman kennels. Hey, them was good kennels. So, you know, these dudes, they wasn't sitting in no one spot, and he definitely wasn't in a soft spot. You know, he was definitely up there in the, you know, in the, what we call that area, Mike, the Maryland area. I forgot what we call it.
The DMV.
The DMV, that's right. Thank you. The DMV. You know, that's a rough area. Neil Buster, Hell on Earth. There's a lot of great kennels over there in that area. Some of those pedigrees, you might be like, you know, I don't lay on those pedigrees because, you know, some of you guys might get it, some of you guys might not. So I kind of keep it moving. Here's another one here. The Holcomb stuff. You know, when you look at the, you know, the thing, you be like, yeah. But this is pretty good. This is a pretty good one. A black dog from Canada. Okay? Black dog from Canada. 205. You know, Slobo, he was a good kennel, so you know that 205 was definitely earned. Here's Havana Chico. I mean, not Havana Chico. This is Chico Lopez's dog, Bruno Boy. This is the dog that I was telling you guys about that, you know, got rated at the match, and he ended up going in there getting his dog back. This is the same dog. And you can tell he was a good dog now. Don't take nothing away from him. But we don't know how he was bred. But he was definitely a good dog. He beat pretty good kennel. He beat Latin Connection. They had pretty good dogs. But as you can tell right there at the bottom, it says he's a 4-time winner and was fouled out at his championship show when it was found that he had artificial teeth installed in his mouth. That tells you what kind of person Chico was. I mean, this dog right here really literally explains who Chico Lopez was back then. You went into the police station and was able to get your dog back when everybody else was charged and lost their dogs. You fell out with Evolution. Evolution really did pull all the trash out on him. Okay? bad dealings. You know, when we have thieves, you don't honor amongst thieves, okay? And then to turn around and cheat. It's called cheating. Yet y'all put this guy on such a high pedestal because, you know, like I said, when we pop back up, you know, y'all was talking about he was better than STP. And not even never once did I hear anybody even mention Super Kennels. But this is the Chico Lopez. This is the Chico Lopez we knew back then. Another good one right here, Knockout Kennels, Bubba. Look how he's bred. Now you tell me that in a nice, good Patrick cross with Rascal on the bottom. TKO Combine, that's TKO Kennels. That's the guy who had Champion Rascal at the time of his death. That's the guy I met. I got a picture of Rascal. I know y'all see the picture of Rascal. Well, I got a picture of Rascal signed by him. You know, it's not the same picture everybody else has. But he's another great kennel. He's a legendary kennel. He's done a lot for the game. And I like that cross. You know, it's a nice cross. It's a nice Patrick cross along with Buck. I know a nice Patrick Boyle's cross. You know how hard it is to get a Buck dog and a Patrick cross to work. Here's one that works. You know, there wasn't a lot of them out there that we could get that done. And then to bring the Rascal in, knowing that, you know, these dogs do have Eli in them, you know, those bulldogs do have some Eli in them, you know, so, you know, and to see this one, it's a good one. And you know he had to be rough. Look at the kennels that he beat. All good kennels. He's got a great pedigree. You know, 32, 49, 41. Good referees matching, good referees looking, judging his shows. Hey, that's a good dog. Wonder what happened to him, because that would have been a nice breeding. You know, if somebody could have kept that stuff going, and, you know, it would have been nice to see, because very seldom do we see this work. A good Boyle's cross with some Buck cross. Black Horse Buzz, another good dog. Lost to the Havana boys. But look at his breeding. Another Jeep Red Boy cross. You know, another good one. Probably was a pretty rough, nice dog too, guys, because he was finishing them. 29, 34, 23. And in the match he lost to a champion in 56. But this is what happened. And like I said, Havana Boys, you already know, just like Roadblock and them, those were competitors. They searched the country for competition. There was no doubt that Havana Boys and Roadblock Kennels, they're not the only ones, but I always considered them fast lane. You know, so it was an honor for me to not only know Havana Chico, but had the chance to finally get me a picture with Havana Danny. So it was a pleasure for me to get that picture with Havana Danny, because he was a very instrumental when it came to the Havana Boys, when it came to me. You know, and so was the Latin boys, you know, Latino Ray and Oscar and them were great dudes to know. Another nice pedigree, the Thibodeau stuff. Not always the banjo stuff, but as you can see, they took the Bandcraft dogs and crossed them in with the same stuff that created the banjo dogs and came up with a pretty nice dog. And look, they beat Matt, they beat Cedar Hill, and the Tennessee Dog Pound. So, you know, that it takes a bulldog to do that. You know what I mean? It's straight bully son cross now. That band cross is straight bully son cross. You know? So that's a real nice bred dog right there. And he had to be one. He won over credible competition in the Mason-Dixon area. You know? Won his first one as JR's, and his second one as Roy's. So, you know, and then his third one as Pure as Gold. So this dog was sold 3 times. You have Vietnam refereeing a good one against the Tennessee Dog Pound. Another great kennel. Cedar Hills, another great kennel. Matt, pretty good kennel. Matt Panther. Still, I just showed you 2, you know, if you notice the pedigrees. Here's another one. Havana Boys. Another good cross. You know, imagine that one. Eli, standing man, being bred into a hardcore dog. You know, Roadblock and Havana and them was running a lot of dogs together. But this is a good one. Beat some pretty good kennels. Fear Nothing, you know, Crazy Side, and Black Hawk. You know, look at the times. As long as one was out in 35, that was his first one. 52, 29, 56. That's a bulldog. He worked for his. That's all stiff competition. That is all stiff competition. Latino family, good referee. Kid Carpenter, good referee. Would you call that a fast lane dog? I mean, you're looking at the Havana Boys. I told you those guys like Tennessee Dog Pound and so many other kennels. These guys search for competition. They made their names searching for competition. Okay, we got CeeLo here, another Patrick dog, crossed into some of that, what I would call Mexican Eli. You know, you got Bobby Hall stuff there, but you got that Cardenas stuff. The funny thing about it, they got it crossed with the Homer stuff, the Patrick cross. When the last time we seen some of that? Patrick and Cardenas crossing with some Bobby Hall. Probably got some Miss Boobs in there some down where. But look, rough ass dog there, guys. 26, 31, 51. Good referees. The Kennel family coming hard. You know, the Outlaws, the Farm was a good one. Basic Instinct Kennel, they were pretty good. Now we got Super Kennels. You know, Super Kennels, they would, as you can tell, like I said, that's a morphin dog. That's a Mexican dog right there. See, bred in Mexico. One in Florida. Over a 4-year period. All in relatively short time. Every one of them kennels they beat. Pompano, Cuban Power, Palm Beach Boys, all good kennels. Havana Danny, refereeing one. Colored Brothers, refereeing one. Hey, that's stiff competition right there. Super Kennels, they match dogs. I don't think they was, you know, I've always known them to match dogs. They like STP. They liable to have anything. As long as it's winning and it's definitely look like it was bred pretty good. You know, if they could win with it, they won with it. Nice little female, 38, 37. Here's a daughter off of Mayday. That was Chanel. She was a little red-nosed little female, looked just like Brat. Had a little longer legs than Brat. You know, because she was bigger than Brat. but she had long legs. She was a tough little chick. She won 4. Look at her match times: 23, 43, 45, 38. 42 pound to 40 pound bitch. Now you can tell she traveled. You can tell she traveled. You got Black Front Kennels. You got the Gator Boys. You got Headbanger. Then you got NPR. Look at the referee. Mr. Bill, Red Line, Ming Man, and Lockdown Rudy. Here we got one here, another Boyles Creed cross. This is something that I found very interesting, especially talking to Pit Dog. You know, that Boyles, that, you know, Pit Dog, you know, this dog remind me of, you know, of Jigga and Wiley and them. You know, a Boyles cross with that lively shit. You know, that was, I mean, it showed that it works. You know, and being pretty good when they're poor man, that pretty good dog, man. School teacher, the referee, ex-clan being a judge. Dog was pretty big, just like down there, like Jigga, 47. I mean, they bought him down low as 44. That's a lot. And he went 52 minutes then. That Chocolate Soldier kind of puts me in the mind of old Champion Live in now. Here's another one here. Tennessee Dog Pound Champion China. Look another good Red Boy, Eli Cross. Tennessee Dog Pound Gator Man. I'm pretty sure that was an Eli dog. But cross with a Red Boy. As you can tell, you see, I refereed her second match when she went into Stone City. But definitely a fast lane. You know what I'm saying? It was a good match. To be honest, Rat should have never went that night. She was definitely a sick dog from the very beginning. Anytime your dog starts shitting black, prior to your match, shitting black, oh, there's a problem. But she went 1 hour and 35, and that was a good match. China went on to win her championship, refereed by Vietnam, another great legendary kennel. Undercover Cleo. All I can tell you much on this one here is I see that Giroux stuff. I don't know too much about the Butcher stuff and the Taylor stuff, but the Champion Little Homer stuff, double bred up there, I can tell you, it's probably a pretty good dog. It's probably rough as hell too. No, only kennel I can recognize in this dog's career, it would be Extreme Kennels. And Caveman down there at the bottom, he was a good referee. He was definitely recognized. Mike, I'm not reading the chat, so if there's anything to pop up, let me know, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Latin Boys, Code 9. Another good cross. Havana Boy breeding. You know that Champion Budweiser was definitely have some Jeep. You got that Rebel Kennel, they definitely have some Jeep Rascal in it. But this is another fast lane kennels, as I was saying before, about the Chicos coming in and having good dogs. They was part of that clique. You know, another line of good dogs bred by the Havana Boys, you know. I think Victor used to be part of the Latin Boys when he first started out. You know, they was definitely doing, you know, Victor always used to say that they couldn't win the right matches. So he went on out on his own and just got lucky enough when he got his hands on those Mayday dogs. But he used to be part of the Latin Boys. Another good one. Now, I can see where they was down here in the South, because I know Face Off was a good kennel. Scratchback was a good kennel. And then you got White and Company refereeing the first one. You got Bird Kennels on the second one, and Hard Times Kennel was down here in our area. You know, so the dog, he's definitely legit because Latin Boys are legit. And they was definitely, I would call them fast lane kennel. You know, because they would be in from Florida all the way up to the East Coast. They went wherever it was, the happenings were. Here goes some of that Black Hawk and Jesse Rod stuff down here. That's that Jesse Rod stuff. Definitely crossed. You got Champion Floyd being crossed in STP's Bonbon. That's like a Jeep. That's like a Jeep Grand Champion Buck cross. That's interesting. You know, Jesse Rod, that's a nice cross that Jesse Rod got there. A little tiny bitch. She had to be a murderer because they beat the Octagon. They beat Captain America. That's enough. You got Farmer in the camp and Farmer refereeing. This bitch must have been a badass dog, y'all. Because she must have been rough as hell. All those shows were very short, looking like Brat there. 23, 30, and 30. Anytime you see a dog like that, that dog is moving 90 miles an hour, and she's definitely putting in the pain. I've seen enough of those. I can tell you what happens when you can win 3 matches. You know, like Shady Lady, you know, Pandy, Queen. You know, these dogs, for these dogs to beat a dog in 30 minutes, let me tell y'all, them dogs is moving 90 miles an hour with a lot of ability, doing a lot of damage very fast. Or here's another good one of Sorrel's dogs. Now, when in the 90s, we seen a lot of Sorrel's dogs. So everybody was trying to, you know, you don't hear too many people talking highly of the Sorrel's dogs now, maybe because ain't nobody breed them right. But even in 2000, they were still showing up. Showing up. Dog had some pretty good matches there, too. Baltimore Lee, beat down the Fern, all great kennels. Pit Bull Dynasty, Scratch Liner being the referee. Hey, good match. Good match. Hour and 52. 1 and 32. Hour 57. And that dog got some alligator in it. Bottom side alligator, that Gary Hammond stuff cross with sorrels. Hey, that's not a bad idea to look into. Alligator and sorrel. Hey, I can tell you again, that's gameness. There's definitely gameness there. And she definitely wanted to some stiff competition here on the East Coast. Here's another good one here, the East Coast Boys Cricket. Even though cricket, you know, to me, cricket went into some decent dogs, I would say they had better referees than they had the kennel they went into. You know what I mean? I can say that. But the dog himself, Mr. Tupper, yeah, and I got me a picture of Dan Tupper too. I got that right along with the day. I got all them other great pictures of great dog, man. That was a privilege for me. Let me make that shout out. But here we go with another Hammond's dog. Okay? Cross with some Frisco. So we got Alligator Frisco and Boyles. Well, we can call it Boyles Patrick. You got the Boyles brand, and then you got the Boyles line. And that's a combination. Nevada was a combination of such. You know, and looking at the time, I would expect that. One in Illinois from a Boyles, Hammonds, Frisco cross. Hey, need to look into that and kind of consider that, you guys, when you're talking about cross and stuff. You still, like I said, there was some really nice Hammonds dogs still out there lurking around during that time. I showed y'all several Hammonds dogs, okay? Them alligators, them dogs was pretty good. Gary Hammond's still alive. He probably still got good dogs, you know. One thing for sure, we were looking at Hammond dogs back there in the 90s, and now we up here in the 2000s. We still seeing them pop up. But look how they breeding them. Look at the crosses. You're putting a killer in there. You're crossing that alligator with some more alligator mouth, real rough shit. That's what you get. Good referee. Scratch Liner, Falcon, Shady Days. Oh, okay. Dog is legit. You know, I'm not impressed with the people that he went into, but a match is a match. Okay? And definitely referee by good dog men. We can't get everybody all the time to get the competition you want. Sometimes you got to get the competition you can get. Okay, with a dog like that, I'm pretty sure they wasn't scared to put it on nobody. That's for damn sure. Okay, here's another one. Lenard Skylar's DJ, another good one. I know PD Kennels was another good one. Fabian and them was okay. They were a good kennel. But look at the referee, Rising Star Kennels, Triple H Kennels, Georgia Combine, great kennel. Hey, them was great referees. You can't ask for better referees. Probably a pretty good, decent dog too. Got that Irish Jerry cross with that Tupper cross. Hey, then you got the Robinsons, and you know Robinsons, they had rare boy dogs. They had that meddling stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's an interesting breeding in itself. 41 to 43 pound dog down in the South. Got to be a pretty nice dog. Definitely was probably a good game rough dog. You know what I mean? APR's Die Hard. Yeah, Die Hard. Another good dog. You know, Big Warren was a good kennel. Blizzard Creek Kennels good. Wayne was a good kennel. Cedar Brook Kennels. Pretty good competition there. Grave Digger the referee. Airborne. War Eagle. X-Men. Hey, another dog to look at. Pretty good kennels, pretty good time. That first match went 1 hour and 26. But everybody else, he's probably a real consistent killer. You know what I'm saying? A real consistent killer. You hear Black Ice talk a lot about that Magoo dog. You know what I mean? I had the best buck dog in the world. Okay? That Magoo dog, he produced some good stuff. But then you got that Red Beast Champion Charlie in that pedigree. You know what I mean? Coming down off that red dog, good bred stuff. That old Red Becker stuff was pretty good, and it's nice, and it looked like it's been crossed with that buck stuff. It worked, you know. And he's a big dog, 51 to 54. Probably a nice, consistent bulldog, you know. One that you couldn't beat. Maybe you had a chance to look like you can beat, but you could never catch up with him. You probably gave him a good match, but you just couldn't catch up with him. He always stayed ahead till he finished it. You know, them kind of dogs are hard to beat. Okay, here we got one right here, another Boyles dog cross. Definitely a good Patrick dog. Good Boyles cross. Coming off of that Grand Champion Cool Breeze. and champion Bobby Jr. Well, you know, you got double bred Bobby Jr. You got Bobby Jr. on the top, Bobby Jr. on the bottom. You gotta remember, Bobby Jr. produced the queen. You know, and then it's a little female. So you can know this little bitch is probably rough as hell. You know what I mean? She won her first as Los Amigos Pretty. Won all three in under an hour. I mean, I see Dan there, I see Brewer there, and I also see Tupper there. I see Bogart and Steel City Kennels as the referee of this first one. But they do, they turned around and bought the dog, you know what I mean? After they got whooped by her. You know, that pretty smart move, bred good, probably rough as hell. Here's another good dog right here. Word Kennels, Dozer Jr. You know that's Red Boy. A lot of Red Boy right there. Good kennel. 37 to 38. That's a pretty good competition. Hot Boys, Strictly Business refereeing. That's over there in the New York area. Then you got Dead Serious refereeing. That's down in the Texas area. And then you got Latino Family. That's back over there in the Jersey area. So the dog went into some stiff competition. Up and coming kennels, Mason-Dixon kennels. Those are all good kennels. Hey, this dog probably was a bulldog. Imagine a Red Boy dog, rough. This dog had to be rough. 26, 59, 37, 48. He probably had a real consistent pace, real consistent attitude about winning. You know, those dogs right there, looking at the pedigree, you can just tell the consistency. And we're talking about Word Kennels. Word Kennels is the very same guys that we be talking about. You know, they were good kennels.
Hey Mo, Pit Dog said he seen Dozer. You seen him go.
No, hey, Pit Dog, is that the same Dozer? That ain't the same Dozer that lost the Yellow Buck, though. That's what I want to know. Can you answer that for me? Because I know Word Kennels, Yellow Buck won against one of his champions, but I always thought it was Dozer, but I think the dog that he lost the Yellow Buck name was Buster. I don't think it was Dozer, so I might be correcting myself. Word Kennels champion Buster lost the Yellow Buck.
He said he lost to Wacko.
Oh, Dozer Jr. is the one that lost to Wacko. Okay. I got that. Dozer Jr. lost to Wacko. Is that what you said, Mike?
Well, he said Dozer lost to. He said that Dozer lost to champion Wacko.
Okay. Well, he showed out his.
He said it was right before Kunta.
Well, look, if he went into Wacko, but he showed out of his weight class, wasn't he?
How much was Junior?
Huh?
How much was Junior?
Junior was like 37, 38, 37 and a half, 37. And Wacko was like 39, 40, like Buck, like Lil Mayday and Buck Rogers and them. So he came up, he came up a lot, you know, basically out of his weight class. Because Wacko was definitely 39, 40 when he went into Lil Mayday.
He said Wacko was out of his weight class against Kunta.
That's what it was. I kind of figured that. Definitely kind of figured that because I know Little Matty would have been a 40, 41, like Buck Rogers, his son, his grandson. Okay, here's another one, guys, right here. Cajun Red Kennels Gator Boy. Here we got some more Jeep Red Boy crosses coming down off of Champion Gator. Remember, y'all, how many times we done seen this Red Boy stuff and this Patrick stuff? We see it, remember?
That time period, that shit was hot.
I'm telling you. I mean, they started in the mid 90s.
They in full swing about this time period here because
they barely started taking over.
You barely running across some bullshit.
Exactly. You see the boiled stuff. You see the boiled stuff that was working. They were doing nice crosses. You know, that's a boiled dog right there. You know, that dink dog was definitely the boiled shit. And that bitch does the damn near the same thing Panning them did. They go in there and wreck your ass. Very fast paced, like Queen in them. You got the right boiled dog. That's what you can expect. You ain't gonna expect no gameness. Don't look for no gameness because you ain't gonna never get to that point. You gotta go in there against one of them and survive. If you can survive, you might get to see some gameness, but that's about far as you're going to get because you're going to get wrecked. Here's another one right here, that Cajun Red Kennels Gator boy. You can tell he must have been a rough one. 49 pounds, 18, 8, and 12. You got P. Thibodeau, N-O-R-K, or Art Kirk. That may be Mr. Kirkland. I'm not for sure, but hey, this is a Red Boy G cross. You got to tell me the purest low posse crosses right there, which is gonna be old Eli stuff. I bet you this dog had a 15 mile. That's what I tell you. I think he had a 15 mile. Now, let's speak on the kennels that he went into. Nothing spectacular. And it looked like it may have been done either down in the Texas area or the Arkansas area. You know what I mean? But, hey, you know, you get what you can get. Here's another great dog right here. Hargrove Gus. Another good dog. Old Carolina bred. Owned by War Eagle, who is Harry Hargrove. Live Taker Kennels, he won in 22. He beat Federation Kennels, a great kennel, in 22. And he beat Myers Bud in 29. He ended up losing to Ajax, which some say who saw the match was a freak accident. You know, good kennel referee. That's one of the Cunningham brothers up there. And you got Mr. Watson. Good dog, though. He lost to Ajax. Here we got the Roadblock and Havana boys. Another good line of dogs here. You got Standing Man. We seen this cross earlier. They took Standing Man and bred into that hardcore stuff. You know what I mean? So that's basically two litter mates because we seen the same dog. You know, this must be a litter mate. Okay, Abrahams, that's Detroit area Latino family. Sure enough, that's up in the Ohio area. The dog traveled. That's for damn sure. But then this is what you can expect when you're dealing with fast lane kennels. Roadblock and Havana boys was a fast lane kennel. They search for competition. Pepper Steve and Smokey Husker. Another good line of dog men right there. Good line. Pepper Steve, Champion McBrambo. Another good line of dogs there coming down off that Game Dog Incorporated Champion Brambo. A good line cross. They don't have the prettiest pedigree. I don't think they really care much about a damn pedigree. I mean, you got all the right stuff, but then look at that bottom. What do y'all see? See that Hammonds? More of that Gator shit. And anytime you see that Gator shit, what do we notice? Matches didn't go long. Did you notice that? We ran into about 3 of them already. This would be like our 4th one. Okay? Husker was shown by Cyclone Kennels in his first match. His second time as Smokey. All his matches were under 45 minutes. Shit, 28, 43. So I'm pretty sure Pepper Steve bought him after he saw him win his second match. You know, I best one I can tell you, I know Bogart, he was a good dog, man. Okay? School teachers, Pepper Steve, good referee, so, hey, good match dog. I'm tripping on the weight. His first one at 20, he won in 28, he was at 48 pounds. You know, I think when Smokey and them got him, they fixed him up. Smokey went partners for number 3 with Pepper Steve. But they had him at the right weight when going into his championship match, that's for sure. Hey, thanks Pit Dog for that information, baby. Here go another Jeep Red Boy Cross. Here go Triple H. Another good bred dog. We got the Jeep being crossed into the Bully Son stuff. Basically, crossed down into some Red Boy stuff. So what are we gonna call this stuff? We're gonna call it Jeep Heavy Bully Son crossed into the Red Boy. Nice dog there. Beat the Untouchable, beat Trauma City, and beat Precious Kennels. Nice breed. Golf Course Boys Juice. Another good kennel. Now we starting to run into that Chinaman stuff. We're going to get gameless. Union Night and Hardline Kennels. When an hour and 23, JC. Sometimes when I see JC, sometimes it's, you know, it could be James Crenshaw. You know, sometimes I see Jay Shaw, you know. So sometimes that might be James Crenshaw, and, you know, sometimes I see it as Jay Shaw. But Road Warrior and War Paint, I know that's in War Paint is like in the Jersey area. New York area. So that's Georgia Combine, No Fear Kennels, Union Night, Hardline, good competition. Bred by Slingshot Kennels, a Chinaman cross with some Busenbark, which has got a little of that Busenbark stuff. Is pretty good. Not the gamest in the world, but pretty rough. Pretty rough. Here we go with Southern Blues. I told y'all, pay attention to that Southern Blues. Southern Blues was on one. A kennel that you guys probably wouldn't even know. You know, they was there 1 minute and gone the next, but pretty active. Had good dogs. Here's another one here. We got the Hardgrove cross. Cross with Patrick. Patrick crossed with some with more Eli. That leaves Cowboy and the Thurman's Queen, Midnight Cowboy cross, North Coast Kennels, Beach Boy Billy, Triple H, D Ham, another one of the Cunningham brothers. You know, good kennels he beat. He beat Hardgrove. You know, and he beat the person who damn near got the whole top half of the line. No, that's War Eagle I'm talking about. Yeah, that was Hardgrove. Hardgrove and Peppers, yeah. North Coast Frankie, 50, 56, an hour and 32. Nice dog. Think about some of these crosses, guys, as you're looking at them. You know, maybe y'all need to go back there into that old school and recalculate. You know, y'all so used to these normal kennels. We done seen 3 champions coming out of Southern Blue in the year 2000. Okay, we got LoJack here. I see some of that St. Benedict, more of that Hargrove stuff. No, not too sure about the Stevenson stuff, guys. I know the Renegade Kennel, that's Carolina's, that Grand Champion Jinx stuff. But could be some Eli stuff. Pancho Villa. This is what this kind of looks like. Ice Pick, yeah, more like Carolina stuff, because they go Ice Pick. Rickett, Cedar Hill, yeah. Federation, 1938 and 40. 35, 39, 35. Boy, they bouncing around in that weight a whole lot, ain't they? 1-3-0 with some credible competition, all in relatively short order. That's true. You go the Untouchables. They lost to War Eagle. Those females. Probably some pretty good stuff here. Now we got Grand Champion Buck crossing to the old, basically, let's see, Gears could be Jeep, Untouchables, Gus. But they look like Untouchables had a lot of Buck stuff. So I'm gonna ride on it that is Buck stuff. But they be some pretty nice kennels. Rough cut kennels in 10 minutes. Junkmaster in 29 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Junkmaster, you referee the match and then decide to go into them. Cutter Brothers. Refereeing. Lost to War Eagle in 31 minutes. And then Head On Kennels, they won in 35 minutes. They probably ended up getting her picked up against War Eagle. Remember I told you that, you know, Harry has some pretty rough dogs. Harry like rough dogs. He don't like game dogs. He like real rough dogs. You know? And he has some pretty rough dogs. Slingshot and game-related kennels Missy. Another good bred dog, Chinaman Frisco Cross. Good kennel. The Holder Connection, good kennel. The Judge, no. Big Bank, not too sure about, but I do definitely know Punchy and Bread Boy. But that's just showing you that's Carolina shit there, y'all. I know that's Carolina shit.
Hey, Mo.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I'm sitting here noticing as you're going through these pedigrees. I'm thinking back on the time period, right?
Yeah.
Is you checking out some of these 4th generations, man?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at some of these 4th generations and being like, dang. You know what I'm saying? These boys was making some marks on some shit that you got to go back nowadays. You know, when we be looking at them, you see them in the 8th. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, but you look at them when they was in the 4th generation, how consistent these monsters was really producing at that time period. Just look at the 4th generation.
And let's not forget what I tell you about champions. They come from good pedigrees. This is what I be trying to point out. I'm not on Pairs Online now. I'm showing you the actual reports. You know what I'm saying? Look at the way they're breeding them. This should be a tool for guys to see some of these crosses. Those crosses mean a lot. The results mean a lot. This gives you a whole lot of understanding. Remember, most champions got great pedigrees. All you got to do is understand the pedigree. Some of these crosses, like those Hammond crosses, a lot of guys ain't crossing that stuff. They steady trying to pile Hammond on top of it. The Hammond dogs that I seen, they was dropping them in different lines that normally y'all not doing, you know, back then in our time. they was just dropping him in. Now everybody's trying to get a Hammond cross, a Hammond dog, period. That Hammond was used a different way. You know what I mean? They were dropping them Hammond dogs a different way back then that was working. Definitely had to be bringing a lot of mouth. That's for damn sure. Because a lot of the matches that we saw, they were quick matches. If you're paying attention. You know, that Frisco stuff always have been some good stuff. But as what you're going to start noticing, it's going to really start showing up here in a minute. As we pass through the years. Now you know why I can only do 1 year. Right now, Mike, you see what I'm saying? You hear me?
I can't help but hear you.
Okay, come telling you. You see I'm zipping through them.
Yeah, but see, at that time period, it just gets even more explanatory once you keep moving forward. But you keep doing it the way you're doing it, bro.
Okay. Okay, here go the CCML Monkey Man. Very active kennel. My boy Lil Jeff in them. These dogs usually, remember I was pointing out, in the 90s, you seen them. Early 90s. Now we see them up in the 2000s. They still there. You know what I mean? Great kennel. You know, remember what Mama said. Mama conditioned a lot of their dogs because you catch Jeff on ESPN boxing sometimes. He was a professional boxer. So, you know, he know how to run his hand. He know how to play his game. And he had good dogs. Here's another one. Here go that monkey dust stuff again. You see what I'm saying? I see some sorrel stuff in there. Vietnam kennels. Hey, good bred dog. Why do I say that? Because I see Vietnam there. These are well-known kennels with great dogs. Why? Because they have a breeding program to produce match dogs. They like matching dogs. These guys weren't breeders. They were matching dogs. Catch weight, big boys. Look at the times. They go true game. You got bandwagon. You got behinds. That's a homeboy. BLB, homeboy. Both of them from Ohio. Great dogs. Same one had Grand Champion Satan, the other one had Champion Bullet. The one that beat Fat Bill's Champion Hilfiger. So all great kennels, all great referees, okay? I know about the Rough Riders. It's probably about the most legit one that I see in this outside the referees being great referees. But this was the Great Lakes area. But this must have been a rough ass dog here. He had to be rough. Because they have a red boy crossed into some heavy yellow John. That's all red boy. And then you got a 50-50 out. He had to be rough. 29, 25, 35, 52. He had to be rough.
Hey, Mo.
Yes, sir.
Look at that lineup in the referee column, and none of them wound up in that win or loss column. So you know he was rough.
Oh yeah, you know they hands off. You already know what that was.
You already know what that was. When I look at that lineup over there in the referee section,
nobody was running behind his ass, did they?
With the people they know too, ain't nobody running behind them on this one.
Right, ain't nobody pick up the phone and referee not talking about eye taking.
Right. I'll go back and tell the other boys. You know what I mean? They probably tell them what they see in the shit. Ain't nobody gonna go over there messing with that dog.
I mean, look, CNC had him, okay.
Yeah.
And you know they matching dogs.
You know they matching dogs.
You know Jeff he ain't running from nobody. I told you.
Look, well, I'm trying to tell you, I was looking at that lineup. I said this had to be a rough bitch because ain't none of them tried to fade nothing.
None of them. They would come after anything. If they referee you would call you out and walk out the damn door.
Quick.
Hey,
that crew right there, yeah.
That
must have been a rough bitch. Because ain't nobody call her. I don't
see them. Ain't nobody mess with him at all. Here go Morocco. Process champion Morocco. Another hardcore dog cross with that termite cross. Hardcore crossing with the termite stuff. And believe me, Morocco was that bulldog. He was game. And he was consistent. And he beat you consistently. Another good dog. Top dog, Black Knight, strictly business, referees. Credible dog, man. You know, hell of a pedigree for those who want to, you know, that's, and you already know hardcore, they was on that Jeep Rascal Yellow Cross.
Hey Mo, you know, my man was Pro Set, you know that, right?
Yo, you know Pro Set with my dude.
You know what I mean? Cause he'll go buy some shit quick and beat your ass with it.
Oh, he'll buy it out of the box.
Right out of the box.
He will buy it out of the box.
Be on the phone the whole time. Oh yeah,
the whole time he locking up. He spending his money and go right back and bet what he spent for the dog.
Sure no.
And and money was not an issue. He want what he want. Remember, he bought May like that.
Yeah.
He bought Champion Sugar like that. You know what I mean? Morocco, he was
Morocco. Yeah. Yeah, you know,
that was my boy. I remember I got that dog off of Champion Sugar and Champion Nico.
Yeah,
remember he literally gave me that dog.
That's my boy right there. I just wanted to get that out there.
Oh yeah, the mother to goddamn the shit.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I want to just make it clear. Gotta throw my boy's love in there because he was my boy.
Gotta throw the love to Tom. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Here go another STP dog, Nigel. Again, another nice ass cross to me. Nice ass cross. And what I tell you about that little touch of Rufus coming off of that hair hard growth stuff. That Tank Benedict Dillon and stuff, that Champion Thunder, hell of a dog. That cross, that Viper cross, guarantee you'll find that Viper cross in some of Fat Bill's shit. Bred by the late Bonnie Five, you know, Bill Calaby, you know who Bonnie Five was, Mike. He was that judge's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
He couldn't stand us, man.
He couldn't stand us.
We always had to go to dog court in Akron with this dude. And his son, the biggest dog fighter in America.
Yep. And all he wanted to do was burn us.
He was just trying to burn us. Yeah. What's another one of them crazy? Yeah, just one of them crazy stories, fellas. In this dog game, that the great Barney Fife daddy was a damn judge in Akron, Ohio.
Yep.
Stood before the man.
Having to go to the appeals court on his ass. He couldn't stand us.
I mean, you know, here's the bad thing about that situation. We beat him. We appeal this case. We go all the way to the appeals court. We win our appeal. And they send us back to deal with this dude. And he was still trying to throw the book at us, man. After the appeals court told him he was wrong. Had to go back to the appeals court and they just told him to stop it.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Akron, Ohio. And his son was one of the biggest legendary, not the biggest, one of the most legendary dog men that I've ever known.
Yes, he was. Barney Fife.
Barney Fife. True story, fellas. True story.
His real last name was Calaby, just like his daddy. There's another one, Nigel. You know, we tried to breed to Nigel. You know, I don't know what dog my KP wanted to breed to him, but boy, he was set on breeding the Nigel. He liked it, that Nigel dog. You know, me, I was complaining because I don't want no big ass dog. You know, I didn't like big ass dogs, you know. But this dog was out west. And his competition, as you can tell, was out west. Okay, nobody say that first kennel, Rancherita Kennels. You know, nobody says it better than Schoolboy. You know, I'm gonna have to go and talk to Schoolboy, you know, and get these Mexican names down. But this is a West Coast dog. At 46, he won 47, 34, 35. Based on his pedigree, he was definitely a very rough dog. I can guarantee you this dog was very rough, very fast. He won his first two. He won his first two in with Pancho Villa Kennels. So they bought, I guess, STP. You know, STP will go buy a dog. He went and bought this dog from the West Coast. I know when STP got him, I knew my KP knew about him, and he definitely wanted to breed to this dog. Okay, here we go. Moving on. Make sure I got the right page here. All right, here we go. We got Havana Boys and TDK's Noriega, another Mayday dog. And you really got to go too much to speak up on him because he was definitely a bulldog. Fast lane kennel. You know how the Havana Boys are. I say they went in the top notch kennels, always looking for competition. All four of these dogs are going into fast lane kennels. Dead End Connection, Danger Boys, Baltimore Ryan, Scratch Liners. All great kennels. Referee High Performance, Kid Carpenter, Latino Family. All great kennels. This is the dog that lost to Ajax. You know, the man sold the dog to a rookie. Told the rookie, I'm going to condition him for his grand championship. Rookie wants to get in the limelight. No, I want to do it. Only got one dog. Spent down there $30,000 for this dog, and he wants to do it himself. Van Tico told him, I hope you lose. You're going to lose anyway, but I hope you lose. And he lost. His hardest match was he went an hour and 35 against Dead Gang Connection. Everybody else, 17, 28, 55. Another great dog. There's another great dog here. Scratch Liners. You always hear me talk about Scratch Liners. Scratch Liners is one of them bad kennels, you know. And again, for Scratch Liners to lose to Noriega, you know what I mean? Scratch Liners is not a very easy kennel to beat. They had another good dog. I think they had his name Scratch Liners Grand Champion Buddy. I know he made the cover of the journal. But here's another one of his little females. She was pretty rough too, but she was game. She was game as hell. Why was she game? Because she was a Jeep Red Boy Cross. Jeep Red Boy Cross. Put a lot of time in that box. An hour 40, hour 37, hour 37. A lot of time. Clan Bar Boys. Pit Bull Dynasty. Roll Hard Kennels. All great referees. Capital Punishment. They knew their hands was full. Terror Squad. They knew their hands was full. Epps with the Rat Dog. They knew their hands was full. You know, this dog right here is probably a very consistent, very hard dog. Probably did a lot of switching out. But her gameness definitely brought her through. Especially when you're talking about little dog. Fast pace, rough ass match. When you're going into good kennels. You know, good thing they had great referees. Because those matches become very hard after that hour mark. A whole lot of scratching, a whole lot of handling. Got great dog man doing all kind of shit. You know, it takes a good dog man to referee that type of a match. Okay, Juice Pearl. You know, we see the Jeep Red Boy Cross for damn sure. I see some Bailey stuff. Not really sure about that shit too much. You know, from Mr. Wilson. But we definitely know Nothing Nice Kennel was a good kennel, Triple H referee. He refereed the first one and the third one. Grady, good kennel. You know, it must have been a good one. You know, his hardest match was against Nothing Nice. That's pretty understandable. You know, but the other two, 26-33. Now, anytime you see Jeep Red Boy Cross in there on some of these dogs, if you notice, guys, you know, these dogs are very hard to beat. Speaking of another Jeep Red Boy cross, a Jeep Rascal cross, here's a good one. OG. These boys up in the Detroit area, they now, they got them OG headbangers. I think they went on to become OG Posse. Okay, pretty sure that's them. Okay, you got Tina Turner. She lost in an hour and 12. Sure enough, referee. Buck Wild Kennels lady. Hour 4. Lock and load Kennels. Good referee. That one with Russ Side Hoorah boys right there in their own backyard. Took it to the limit. 2 hours and 43 minutes. That's a long match right there. She won all her matches up there in the Great Lakes area. A lot of time in the box. Anytime you got a good, and we have to understand, when you're dealing with Jeep dogs, you better be ready. Because one thing about a Jeep dog, I can tell you guys, they're consistent in their matches. Very consistent. They don't lay down and lay around or nothing like that. They keep it busy. They're smart. They know when to take their breaks. They know how to take their breaks. It's just really hard to beat a real nice, good Jeep dog. And as you can tell, you see what's winning. We're still running across these Jeep Red Boy dogs. Here's another one right here. Mass Combine and Octagon's Pistol. Look at that time. Up there, Baltimore boys, Surge Kennels, up and coming Kennels. This is up there on the east, definitely up on the east coast. Up in that New York area, definitely where they at. But look at there. Baltimore boys, then they beat that champion Popeye dog in an hour and 54. Hell of a good match. Brooklyn Knights, Farmer, Body Snatcher. Yeah, same Body Snatcher that had the motherfucking records, dog. These are good. This is a good match. That hour 54 must have been a hell of a match. But like what I tell you about that Jeep Red Boy cross, consistent. That's what they do. They wear you down. They stay consistent, very smart, very determined. Now here go one, Rolling Hills, Ice Pick, and Pistol. This is definitely some Carolina shit. Not familiar with the Kennels. Not really familiar. I know Slew. He's a recognized kennel. I don't recognize the other ones. But that 1 minute match and 2 first class show wins. That would have been the Rickett match and the Mike and Company match. I'm pretty sure. But who wins the match in 1 minute? Nice bread, though. Definitely Carolina. Carolina, Virginia got to be in that area. But look, got a Fat Bill cross with a Jeep cross.
Jeep still in that. I still say it. Look, if you just look at it, man, Jeep still. You got a bad motherfucker in the 3rd and 4th generation Jeep hanging around.
Yeah, you got the Garner Star cross in there. You got the Missy, Crenshaw Missy. That's Jeep Little May's sister.
Mm.
So that's a good calculated cross right there. 34, 33 pound bitch. Yeah, that's a good cross. Let me keep on. The pedigree speaks for itself. I like to see better matches with great dogs, though. Especially when you got great dog, man, you got them. You know what I mean? Federation Kennels Razor. Another good dog. Little Mate brother, the Blackjack. Here we go. You got another Red Boy Jeep cross. They go Wood Shirley too. James Post dog. Yep, that's Wood Shirley too. James Post dog right there. I'm always talking that every time I see it, I'm going to bring it up. Rest in peace, James Pope. He actually the one that made the Bosco Shirley 2 breeding. I know because I had one of the puppies. He gave me one. And what he did is Shirley never came back. The puppies came back, but Shirley didn't come back. And like I told you, he had a problem. Anybody could have got a dog out of him when he was hurting for a fiend. Razor beat a good dog and he lost to a good dog. He beat that champion big boy in 22 minutes. Pits and boys and pits, and then he lost to Hargrove's champion Gus in 23 minutes. With Mr. Watson being the referee, then he came back and he won against Bullseye Ali in an hour and 41 minutes. I picked the referee. Still good Kennels. Sabo Kennels Mojo, he beat him in an hour and 50. All the things you can expect. Remember I told you I said about J.C. Shaw? That's James Crenshaw. I know they had him up for stud, but he never produced like Blackjack. Let me just make sure y'all understand. Razor never produced like Blackjack. Okay, here we got one right here, Rita, off the Trap Jaw. Another rough-ass dog. This dog was definitely down there in the Cajun area. You know what I'm saying? Down in that Mississippi area, I'm pretty sure. Very rough bitch, 39, 38, 37. 20 minutes, 22 minutes, 28 minutes. Wild West was the referee, Dead Serious Kennels was the referee for number 3. Mississippi Rick, another good dog, man. I wouldn't be surprised if J-Bo didn't know him. But this was a pretty rough dog. Again, I don't know too much about the Baker stuff, but that Ice Cold Hawk bred good. That Love Bridget breeding produced some pretty decent dogs back in the day. Probably never seen that Ice Cold Hawk in nobody else's pedigree. But you look up that Hall Bridget breeding, you'll see some bulldogs came down off of that particular line. But your boy Roxon, another Bobby Hall cross with the Bujo cross. Another good ass dog. Remember what I said? I said them dogs was probably pretty rough back then in the beginning when I was speaking on it, right? Look at this one. A big male bred by the long-time Bobby Hall. All 3 of his matches were in short order, the longest being 34 minutes. He beat Dr. Love. He beat the Checker Hill Kennels. And let me see, War Pony. War Pony was pretty recognized. Wee Willie from Ohio. Weaver, and then, I don't know these other 2 referees. But, hey, that's pretty good. 32, 25, 34. Just to see, to be able to sit there and have the great Bobby Hall's line, down. You can't get it no tighter, no better than that right there. I guarantee you didn't produce shit. Too tight. Okay, Rude Boy Ronnie. Coming off that Hurricane Kennels champion Storm and Norman. Another one of those G crosses being bred back into Missy. That Garner's Ronnie stuff. Taking this stuff, crossing it with the Patrick. Definitely expecting it to work. Stop that. It's definitely made to work. Hold on, let me get back here. It's definitely made to work. We got Keith went into him twice, lost both times, 30 minutes and 6 minutes. And then Little Man, Buckskin, BCK went an hour and 30. Probably the hardest match he had right there. But very popular cross right there. I like that Jeep, that snake Jeep cross. Okay, we got Rooster coming up.
Hey, Mo.
Yes, sir.
Chabo said something about, might have been the Razor Dog, but he said, that's us. He won 5.
Which one? Which one are we talking about?
I think you were saying something there about
the Rule Boys. Rule Boys. That would be the Rule Boys Ronnie. Yeah, that's a nice cross, J-Bo. Yeah, that's a nice cross. Hurricane Kennels was referee in one of them that went 6 minutes. So he ended up winning 5.
Yep.
Okay.
I see Pizza Man down there. Let me see. Where was he running, man?
That's Pizza Man Sammy. That's a good dog. Yeah, I'm getting that to him. I might pass over this one right here real quick. I got to speak up on Russian Kennels. Russian Kennels was very good close friends with Mr. Mason and the Mason family. Made some good crosses. Remember that rock dog was from Russian Kennels. The Masons that produced, This dog here, coming from a stud out there, he's from Canada. Hey, but he was definitely down in our area, Canadian-made kennels outbreak. But Miami Tony, he was definitely he was definitely in the United States. And he definitely made it as far south as when you got Dead Serious Kennels being the referee. So you got Miami Tony going and Dead Serious Kennels being the referee. TNT Kennels was another good kennel. He had made it definitely over the border and was down here playing for his last 2. So he might be a pretty good dog there. You don't know too much about his breeding. Not too much of a popular breeding outside the Russian kennel stuff. But he definitely made it down there. He had 2 good referees that look over it, what he did, and he did a good job. Pizza Man Sammy, another good breeding, another good dog. We see that dog popping up in people's pedigrees to this day. You find this dog back there in that pedigree somewhere. You see, it be Park Rec, Pit Zone, 10 Man. All I can tell you, I know it was up there in the New York area, the northeast coast, up there in that New York area. He put time in, won 3, 1 hour 17, 1 hour 15, 1 hour and 8. Why does it take so long? Because I can guarantee you couldn't whoop him. That's all I can tell you. When I tell y'all about that Jeep Red Boy Yellow Cross, they're hard to beat. Very nice breeding right there. And yes, you will find Pizza Man Sammy and pedigrees in today's dogs. Okay, keep it moving. We got Ice Pick, and if you notice, you start seeing some of these same people. Ice Pick and Company Sandy. And go another Souls cross. You got Powerhouse Kennels Champion Jim being crossed into another Souls dog. They go Keith again. Keith is having the worst of luck, ain't he? Keith can't win one. Zucon Kennel, pretty popular kennel. Little female, yeah, that's why he went 2 hours and 37 minutes. So he beat a good dog. Sharona Kennels, they was a good kennel. Went 24. It says a big red and white bitch, bred by Powerhouse Kennels by breeding his champion bitch Jim to a pure sorrel male. She won in over 2 hours and 97, and then took a 2-year break before her championship in the year 2000, when she was over 8 years old. She won a championship at the age of 8 at catchweight. Okay, here go the OG Posse. Here go another good deep red boy cross. And if you know what, I always tell you about them boys up there in that Michigan area, OG Posse. They travel, they look for big competition, and they went out to big competition. The dog was 1, 2, 3. She was a 5-time winner before she lost her 6th. Serenity she was grand champion, OG Posse grand champion Serenity before she lost to the Crimson Kennels Gator in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Shit happens, bro.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Bred by pit stop out of a Jeep Red Boy breeding. She won 5 all in times in less than 35 minutes. She lost her 6 in 10 minutes. Going to the well too much. BOP, Little Creek Kennels, and Crossroad, they beat the Honey Dog in 28 minutes. Look, 17, 28, 35, 17, 28. Then to turn around and lose in 10 minutes as the grand champion. But that's what happens when you're looking for competition. OG Posse, Westside Hoorah, they're part of that connection of the Michigan Bulldog men who that's what they did. They like matching dogs. They matched a lot of dogs, and they just wanted competition. Sometimes you do too much, and you pay for it. But hey, game moves on. That's what the game is about. Real deal. Go ahead.
Ain't that the same thing that happened to Gus though?
Yeah, same thing.
Went to the world too long.
Yeah. Well, that was a freak accident against Ajax though. That just happened on a freak accident. I said one went high and Ajax ran and broke him. Remember what happened to Too Sweet?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Gus. Same thing. Went too high. Gus went too high, and Ajax hit him right there in his store and broke him.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yes, we have. We definitely understand what happens.
Yeah, that whole front end be gone.
Be gone. They can't move. Like you broke something.
That chest, that motherfucker hit that, didn't grab it. I mean, they just how he ran in, they ran into
right,
it.
it's the way he hit it. Yep, the collide. Okay, I'm gonna move on here, guys. This is a bad one. It was all right. We don't know too much about the pedigree, so I'm just gonna slide by it. That Reynolds champion Charlie, that was a good dog. I can tell you all that stuff. I know it was a Reynolds cross. Don't know too much about it. Sudden Death Snoop. Another good breeding. Coming down off of that LA Dream Team champion, Jesse James. Don't know too much about that one right there. You know, not really familiar with the kennel names that they went into. But I can tell you LA Captain, Mad Dog, Sierra, that's an out West Coast dog show. Okay? Lucky Dave Socks. Another one right here. We know the Divine dogs. We know the Holland dogs. We know those going to be red dogs and these white dogs. Okay, coming down off of David Divine. Yes, I got my picture of David Divine, which I was very glad to have a picture with him. You know, when I was out there getting my pictures taken of the great dog, man. You know, this dog here, that little female, she went 51, 36, and 55. She might have been down here in Florida. You don't know why I say that, because I see Deep South as the referee wanted her championship match. Here go Pro Set Champion Sugar. Another good bulldog. You know, another hardcore yellow cross. It's basically a Jeep Grand Champion Buck Cross. Yes, Champion Scooter Red. We're coming down off of Pan's Nasty, yep, Grand Champion Buck, a Scooter Pie dog, and you got Double Bred Yellow, you got Jeep, Rascal, and Grand Champion Buck. Another nice ass dog, you know. She beat Never Say Never Kennels, she beat Boot Camp Kennels, and she beat Brick House Kennels. All good dogs. 37, 38, 39. Her longest match was against, it was an hour 10 for a championship. Kevin Hart Kennels, a good referee, Mill Buster, definitely a good referee. So she was definitely a legit bulldog. Definitely good matches she went into, and definitely good referees matches. Shout out to Shady Days and Kevin Hart and Mill Buster. All great dog men. And yes, I got a dog off of her. I got Naya off of her. Championship was bred to Champion Nico. And I got Naya. Literally sent me her. Let's go. We got Team USA. That's Team USA. Another good kennel. Coming down off of Banjo. No, we're gonna, I don't know about that McCooney stuff. I'm gonna have to look in that McCooney stuff. I've seen that stuff several times. I don't know exactly what it is, but they want all this stuff in the northeast part of the world. That's Top Dog, great kennel. Scratch Liner, top kennel. Crunch Kennel, Pit Bull Dynasty, all great kennels. You know, 3-time winner in the northeast, all under an hour. 49, 48, 40. That was Team USA Sugar there. We got Dogman Kennel Swamper. You know, here come, we ain't seen no Eli shit in a long time, have we? We got one coming down off the 6-bit stuff. Now, you know, very nice bred dog right here. Probably one of the first we've seen all night. Actually in the last 2 shows. A nice bred one. And he had to be a bad son of a bitch. And here's the funny thing about it. He was game. He beat some good kennels. Ain't no weight kennels. He beat them in 45 minutes. Mad the referee. He beat Big Ralph in 1 hour and 8 minutes. Lockdown Rudy, the referee. He beat Davis Kobe in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Millbuster, the referee. He beat Evolution Kennels, Everrating Dog, in 1 hour and 40. Dead serious kennels. That's what you call bulldogging. You know, it's very seldom you see a good Eli dog like that. You know, that's like real shit right there.
Hey Mo, that's another one of them. That's another one of them. All of them, and you don't see none of them in the loss column. That crew right there, you know they got some stories to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't see when you got
when you see them big kennels that don't jump on that ass, they know they seen a bad motherfucker.
They seen a bad motherfucker. That's for real, fellas. That's what that should be looking like. Even the bad motherfuckers don't even want to mess with it when they see it.
Right. They don't take no chances.
And I'm just hoping shit like this, you know, you understand why. It's what you see. Played a whole lot about the decisions you make in this game. And even the top dog men to do it. Don't tell me they won't. You better look at it. He's showing you.
He's showing you.
Yes, sir.
Team USA Tabby, another good bulldog. Because she bred. How many times we done seen this Jeep Red Boy cross tonight, y'all? These Jeep dogs was doing their thing, wasn't they? Team USA. Beat Erotic Kennels, Climb by Balls, and Brick House Kennels. 29, 25, 20. Great kennels. Pit Bull Dynasty, STP, and TDK. Come on now. That's a damn good dog right there. Y'all better pay attention to that cross. We've seen this cross several times tonight. Several times. Off the chain, Kennels, Tank. We've seen this cross a couple times tonight. You got the Patrick cross, and that's a right along with the Hollywood cross into the what I call the Boyles line, not the Boyles brand, Ronnie Boyles. This is what I call Champion Comanche was a Boyles line dog. Not Boyles brand, Boyles line. There are two different types of line. This is two different types of breeding. Crossed into some Patrick stuff, which this whole shit of this dog is a Patrick cross. In the tough competition, Palm Kennels, Crowface, 36 male, 40 minutes, S&K Kennels. Akeem and D-South Kennels, Satin, Biohazard Kennels in 34 minutes. Ballhead Kennels, that's old Yogi, Mike. B.O. Yogi in 40 minutes, S&K Kennels. Hell of a dog. Sure like to see. Look, bred by who? California Jack. California Jack. Another good one right here, old Leonard Skynord, Tom Petty. We know that's a Jeep dog at the top. We know that's a Honey Bunch dog right there in the middle. So it can be a touch of this and touch of that. I know the tougher stuff. Man, we seen this stuff earlier. I guess this must be a litter mate. This must be a litter mate because we seen this line earlier. Beat Rising Stars Gator in an hour and 5. He lost to Big O's Kennels, Grinch in an hour and 42. Came back and won and beat Double Trouble Kennels Buckskin in 24. Georgia Combine referee. Watson and Watson, another good referee. Frankie Slick beat Frankie Slick in 23. Hell of a bulldog. Just couldn't get over that top. Another good dog, though. We need to check out that pedigree. We need to find out how that stuff is bred. That's two champions we didn't see off of that Leonard Skynard. Okay? We got Work Kennels up in here again. They've been pretty busy in 2000. This is Captain America work right here, straight up there in that upper northeast of New York type life. Got Mean Man. Got Mean Man. Whipped him in hour and 5. Dixie Line Connection. Fat Bill and them. An hour and 34. Dog Steve, Top Gun at 40. Beat him in 39. You got Latino Family. You got we call him Latino Oscar, Latin Oscar, part of the Latin Boys, and Mortal Kombat. All great kennels. Good referees. Good bred dog. Nice bred dog. We're getting down there to the end, guys. Got one more before I go into the great ones. Deep South Champion Twisted, another Mayday dog. So that was 3 Mayday dogs that we seen. We seen Barracuda, Noriega, and Twisted. Champion Twisted. Another son of a Mayday. 4 Horsemen Kennels. Beat them in an hour and 20. Super Kennels. He beat them in 32. CCM. Big Daddy. He beat him in an hour and 45. That was a good match. That was one of Twist's best matches. We seen that one up in Tennessee the same night the Barracuda won. Super Nat, the referee. Okay, now, before I go too much any further, I wanted to just go through this right quick here, guys. This is the Book of Champions. Y'all see all them pages, right? All these are champions. It's been recorded throughout the history. All these champions, pages of them. Pages.
Winners and losers, fellas. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, all these, yeah. These are the list of all the champions throughout from 1972 all the way up to the year 2000. You ever wanted to know if there was a champion that was in the journal, you'll find it in here. If he ain't in here, they lying to you. Because there shouldn't be no reason why he shouldn't have been registered. Because they're all the champions are in here. The only champion that's not in here that should be in here that I can honestly speak on, and you may have those kind of issues going on out there in the world, would be champion Jigga. Because Jigga did not ever put in to get his championship put down. All three of his matches was there, but then nobody never applied for his championship. But he is a Sporting Dog Journal champion. He was just never he was unregistered. Put it like that. And if the journal, if Jack was still alive, they would have did a vintage on him. Because Jack done that. He does that. There was one he put his championship in 10 years later because all three of his matches were registered. He just didn't nobody ever apply for them. Okay, let me do a quick rundown through these grand champions and shit before I move on and let's put it into the night. You got that Thrill Hill champion, grand champion bull. Don't know too much about the breeding, not most of it, you know what I mean? But it's all where you find a good bulldog. Here's a prime example of that issue right here. You know, you see Ice Pick, you see Boot Camp Click down there at the bottom. So the dog he did travel. He won an incredible competition in the West. You know, that's out there. You got Mims and Deacon, you know. I don't know about the West, you know. Darren, Mardi Gras, that's down there where J-Bo and them is. Dog won his he won his sixth one down there in Mardi Gras, in that area. Especially when you see the Boot Camp Click in there. Ice Pick, we seen that one. Ice Pick must have took a trip down there in that area. You must have go see the show. There's another one right here. Grand Champion Jake. Too many people even heard of this damn dog. This is some of that So-So Boys cross with that Red Boy shit. Seen a whole lot of Red Boy tonight. Georgia Boys got spanked twice by the dog. You know what I mean? That's all we can say about him. He got whooped twice. Down in the South. Tennessee Dog Pound. You always hear me talking about Tennessee Dog Pound. This is why. Because they were very good. They had good dogs and they messed a lot of dogs. Don't know too much about the top half, but we know very well that bottom half. We know the bottom half very well. We know that Chinaman is out, but if you notice right there in this area here, they all the same. You see that? So what did they do? They made a nice cross when they took that right there and added to that. So whatever they was lacking, they cleaned it up real nice. Holland, very good referee. PD, definitely a good referee. Caroline Kennels, definitely you already know who they are. We know who Federation Kennels is. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, he earned his keep. Mason Dixon line, Tennessee Dog Pound. Big shout out to Tennessee Dog Pound. That's why they're in our rap. They are definitely a legendary kennel. Men's Kennels Grand Champion Romeo. Another good group of dog men right here. They earned their keep. You know, they was up there in the Northeast. Look at the dog men. They were definitely headhunters too. You know, High Performance Kennels, Hellraiser Kennels, Life Taker Kennels, OG Posse. Number 4, Hour 5, Ozzie Stevens, Real Deal Kennels, Nice Kennels, Life Taker, another great grand champion. He definitely worked for his work. He definitely put in his work. Here's another one, Grand Champion Troublesome. Another Jeep Red Boy Cross, crossed into some old, so Jeep Cross, you see it? You see Schoolboy's dog up in there. You see the Schoolboy Cross, the broad shit, that's more Jeep. So that's Jeep Red Boy Cross. That's what I call it, Jeep Red Boy Cross. And here he showed his time up in there. He got some good ones in there. I know he got Big Al, that's a reputable. Pete the Greek, another reputable kennel. Nate, a reputable referee. X-Clan, another reputable kennel. Total Top, was supposed to be a troll buster. Chicago Bulls Trouble, good kennel. And you got Triple M, 40 caliber. Lost in 51. Must have been a hell of a dog, but you can tell. You can tell. I mean, I like the cross. You know, remember Triple M talking shit about, his daddy. They didn't really like that tramp dog. They didn't really like that champ dog. Okay? Now, they had Jeep dogs too now. They had that Jeep nigga stuff. Let me tell you something. That Jeep Eli shit, better look out, cuz with a touch of that Red Boy, they add a little bit too. They added the right kind of shit because that dog didn't do a lot of time. So you could tell he eat your ass up, and he had the consistency because he had the Red Boy Jeep in it. The Red Boy Jeep dogs is consistent. When you got a good one, you go out a good one, you're not the one in trouble. It's your opponent that's in trouble. Can he hold up to the storm? That's what makes them great. Because you cannot stay consistent and beat one of them dogs. They're going to be more consistent than you. They're going to have more comeback than you. That's what set them up. That's why I like that Jeep Red Boy Cross. And if you start adding the right shit to it, you can continue because that's what they did.
Stay in that top 5.
That's what they did. That's right.
We've seen it all night, brothers.
They go 9 milli. They go 9 milli. Cherokee Kennels, Dog Pound Kennels, Hidden Hollow Kennels, Champion Witch Hunt, and Beatdown Kennels. All major kennels. Stone City, PD, Bull Skull, and Easy. All great dog men. All reputable referees. 23, 33, 26, 36. An hour and 35. Beatdown Kennel salute. Did you notice a lot of great dogs got Beatdown Kennels in their championship? And we ain't ran across one tonight that made champion from Beatdown Kennels. But Beatdown Kennels come with a bulldog. This is the kind of thing that I was talking about. Some of these guys get out there and they just want to go into the top dogs. That's all they want to do. They want that opportunity to be lucky enough to whoop the top dog. Now, I done seen them 4 times tonight. Maybe it was 5 times that we saw Beatdown Kennels, and they was all under champions registration for their championship. Well, they lost. But they never stopped trying.
They bringing some bulldogs. They definitely bringing some bulldogs, though.
Now, here's something I want to bring to your attention real quick as I get ready to finish in this night in 2000. I just want y'all to notice something. I want y'all to look at this list of grand champions. Okay? This is the list of grand champions from 1972 to 2000. Do you see? This is all it is. You don't see no pages or nothing. The females is over here. This is the females. Okay? That's not a long list. All these years, do you see how hard it is to make grand champion? Why everybody be talking about they won 5, you make grand champion, you on this list. Don't tell me about a 5-time winner that's not on this grand championship list. Don't want to hear it. Grand champions are on this list. Not 5-time winners, grand champions. Well, we can see your wins. We can see your wins. That's just the bottom line. And there's not a lot of them. I'm just pointing out how hard it is to become a 5-time winner registered where you can be in the Sporting Dog Journal as a grand champion. It's not an easy task. And it was sure the hell ain't a lot of them. It's worse when it comes to the females. That's it. Right here. From here to here. From 1972. From here to here. That's all you got. Come on now. As I finish the night out, I got one more thing to go over. They was running very low on registered mares. Registered mares. Can-Am champion Becky, grand champion Mayday, Royals grand champion Mayday, Royals Teacup, and that's it. 3 registered mares in the year 2000. But here's another interesting thing. Watch this shit, y'all. Look at this. These are all the winners in the year 2000. Not the winners and the losers. All the winners in the year 2000. Look at, these are all matches in 2000. That's 1 page. 2 pages. All 2000. Nothing but the winners. 3 pages. 4 pages. Five pages. All in 2000. All matches. 5 pages. Nothing but the winners. 6 pages. Nothing but the winners. 6 pages. 7 pages. 2000. All winners. All matches that took place in 2000. 8 pages. All the winners of 2000. If I had went through here nice and slow, you would have seen a lot of the kennels that you saw with them championships, and you would have seen a lot of kennels that you can tell they was matching dogs. The same old people that we ran into. 8 pages. I would have to say 8.5, 8.25. You see that, guys? Dog of the year. Here's the runner-ups. Big shout out to Tennessee Dog Pound, Havana Boys, Cuban Missing Link, the Super Kennels, Big Thicket. All deserving to be there.
Tennessee Dog Pound. Don't forget them.
I just said them.
Okay. Havana Boys, yeah.
They got Havana Boys up there twice. They got Chanel up there.
Yeah. Good list, though.
Yeah. All right, guys. Mike, we can take that shirt off and put us back into the studio. That's 1 o'clock. Good one. And I told you earlier, I said, Mike, I get into that 2000 book, all them Book of Champions, I ain't gonna be able to run through them like that. My man said, hell of a show, man.
Because you got a chance to see the change, fellas. You start, and that's, come on now. Everything that happened moving forward, y'all, had a big impact on everything that you just seen tonight. Remember, we seen a whole lot of Jeep in the 4th generation, didn't we? We seen a whole lot of Chinamen in the 4th generation. You know what I mean? Think about what you were seeing in the 4th generation, because that's the part that amazes me. Because we was around in that time period. And then when you start looking at the change, and then, Mo was just telling y'all this is what it was. Just look at it and see it for yourself. You didn't see that much Boyle shit. You didn't see that much of Eli shit. But there was a lot of it in there with them crosses. But we was being overwhelmed with Jeep and Red Boy. The game was being overwhelmed. And you think shit didn't get hotter after that? No wonder shit went down the way it went down. Do you blame the things that was going on back then that led to the demise of what really,
we're talking about 90% of them were drug dealers.
I'm telling you, man.
All of them had money.
Getting it in. It was in full go, fellas. Everybody was trying to get on. And you're seeing the smart way of doing it. You're seeing every type of way that could have been possibly done by just looking at the matches. And so when you seen them big killers hook up, you knew it was something big going down.
Everybody wanted to be there.
Everybody was going to be there. They could be there.
Big shout out to Pit Dog for being around so many of them boys over there on the northeast coast. Cause Pit Dog, that was his spot over there. Shady Days and Sniper. That was Shady Days. Back then, them boys was out there. He can tell you a whole lot about that East Coast, that northeast coast. A lot of great dog men over there. Gator boys, Gino boys, Strictly Business. And then Shady Days, they traveled. Shady Days was one of them kennels. They was on that hunt. They hunted. They hunted for competition. The kennels that I talk about, they hunted for competition. They didn't care where you was. They want you. You heard Pit Dog say they tried to put Jigger on the Destroyer. They shouldn't have never let one of them boys referee the match or not let them see him in there that night. They might have got it if they never got a chance to see Jigger go.
Yeah. And then the talker was already behind them. They was just like everybody else that we seen tonight. Just some dogs you just did not want to fuck with. And it wasn't just, that's just, to me, it was a simple part of the game. It was the obvious part when you stop and just look. Not when you talk about these type of hunters. No. You had a damn good one. And you've seen what it looked like when you tried to stay the hell away from it. So
Yes, sir.
That shit. But then, fella, we're gonna wind this down because if we look at what was going on in the 2000s, a lot of things happened after the fact. First thing I want to make sure I get corrected because I had to correct myself because, man, I've been lately just talking about the journal and its 5,000 subscribers by the end of its demise, and I was wrong. It was over 10,000.
10,000 subscribers.
It was 10,000 subscribers. And then another thing I wanted to reiterate on, and Mo, I should let you go ahead and do it, about how the journal kept going and why it kept going up until 2007, after the conviction in 2004. Great.
Well, after the 2000 conviction in 2004, my man from work, Kennels, he appealed. And while he was going through his appeal, now keep in mind, here's the problem with what happened when he got busted. The journal has always been used as a fictional book because the connection to the actual sport, because we don't know when these matches took place. We don't know if they even took place. But when they caught the actual owner of the journal at a dogfight in 2002, and then raided his home in 2003, and when they raided his home in 2003, they got all the subscribers, all the subscriptions, and the fact that Jack Kelly was still involved in the Sporting Dog Journal because he was the one still making Dog of the Year. He was the one still passing out the Grand Championship. That's why they raided his house. And when he lost, he was found guilty. Ward Kennels was found guilty, but he appealed. And it took them all the way up to 2007 for his appeal to come back, and he lost, and he had to go do that time. Now, after Ozzie Stevens won his case, and my man that had the journal, they could not book his ass because there was not a law. All they knew is that they finally made a connection between the owner of the Sporting Dog Journal and the actual dog fighting world, the dog fighting community. They looked at that journal now as a conspiracy, a tool of conspiracy to an organized dog fighting ring that was maintained by the Sporting Dog Journal. In 2007, when that appeal came back, it took the government 2 years to go through the Congress. They went to the House and the Senate and the President and passed a new law making the journal illegal because the relationship had been fulfilled. The relationship between the journal and dogfighting was fulfilled based on him getting busted and him being the owner of the Sporting Dog Journal. After that, it became overseas, the International Sporting Dog Journal. They tried to come up with a Sporting Dog Journal with all the good stuff in it. There was nothing had anything to do with dog fighting in that new journal. Bullshit. They had to go and do the International Sporting Dog Journal to be able to start recording and start putting dogs back in the journal. It wasn't being done here in America. It was being done over the border.
So if you get caught in a dog fight and you have a journal,
you're going to be related to dog fighting. And if you're in that journal, that's just another nail in your coffin. You can't get away with that shit no more.
It's conspiracy, which makes it a federal crime, man.
And thank God for me in 2008, where the judge was like, you know, remember that law hadn't came out until 2010. Imagine if they had passed that law in 2008 with my name all up in that journal. Or Michael Vick's name was all up in them journals. They would have been booking our ass.
Times have changed, brothers.
Times have changed.
You know,
because now they can use the journal as they back then when the law got passed. That's why there was no need for the journal no more, when it can be used against you, whether you got caught at the dog fight or not. The relationship between the journal and the dog fight, and you didn't need to get caught at the dog fight no more. You didn't need to have to be fighting dogs. They could use the journal as evidence of you dog fighting, because the connection between the journal and the dog fighting world had already been completed and already put into law that they can use the journal against you, whether you was at a dog fight or not. Just being in the journal gets you goddamn convicted. That's why the journal was gone. Your call, man. Hey guys, thank y'all for sitting out this thing with me. I hope I showed you a lot. You know, we still got, I don't have 2001, but I have 2002, 2003, 2004, and 2005 of the Sporting Dog Journal, a book of champions. There's a lot of still great dogs getting closer to your time that you could probably see, you know, and more of in your pedigrees as y'all got closer down the line, you know, not those everyday names that y'all still reaching and grabbing at. There's so many different other great dogs, you know. Y'all, when I look at a lot of these pedigrees out here, they have no understanding until I get around the 6th and 7th generation. You know, and for all those people who always put down the journal, you know, because y'all don't really know what the journal was or what it was used for, and you put yourself in the times that these journals were out, guys, stop falling for that little eggshell move, okay? If you weren't in the journal, hey, that's your fault. Because we can't look you up. All we can do is listen to you. Listen to you. When you had every opportunity. Oh, you're supposed to be such a damn dog, man. Okay, you don't report your matches in the journal, but who the hell you going into? Who the hell you going into? If your dogs ain't in the journal, but you matching dogs and you want to talk about, I ain't do this in the journal, then who was you fighting? All them damn matches that I pulled up. Come on now. Somebody, either you didn't go into the right people or you're lying. I'll rest my case. I don't want to hear shit else about anybody trying to put down the journal, because if you were popping dogs back in all the time, you should have every reason to be in that damn journal, because it wasn't nothing to be scared of back then. So don't be trying to use that shit as an excuse. Either you didn't go into anybody worth a fuck, or you're lying. I'll rest my case. And if you got something to talk about, bring your receipts. Don't bring your mouth. Bring the receipts. You want to argue with me? Bring the receipts. I'm done, money. Thank you, guys. Love you all.
Hey, man, look, great show, man. Great show. I mean, you put it out there because, look, brothers, the beginning of this series, and, you know, I call it a series now because we had to finish up, get you to the demise. But what led to the demise and what the mind frame of the game was like at that time period when shit was hot. Look at the pedigrees. Look at the amount of dogs. Look at the amount of matches. Hey, them times ain't never gonna come back. That's why we talk about it, because you need to know what we did and how serious it was when we was doing it. that it can never come back like that. And they're not going to let it. I'm not saying they stopped it. They're never going to stop it. But you're never going to see it like you just seen it. So what makes a dog, you know, of the day, understanding that moving forward, fellas? I mean, what's the argument about? The underground's supposed to be just that. Based on the time that you can get messing around with these damn dogs, please, this is a need-to-know situation. You've seen it at its best, 30 straight years at its best. A lot of great dogs. We all up here in 2000, and look how much we've seen Jeep, Red Boy, even some Garner, some Banjo. You've seen them all. And you've seen what they was using. Winners and losers, fellas. But we had damn near 9 80s and a quarter pages of just winners. Them times can't never get back to that, because the time that you're hanging out with, not everybody had the galls and the balls to do it. But the underground gonna be the underground, and who am I to hate on the underground? I'm the last person you ever hear hate the underground. Because I know what it takes to be out there. And I know how it feels to have that on your back. But it can never get back to that. And if it is going to ever get back to that, we'll never know about it until 20 years later. And I'm hoping that's what it'll be like. And from an old man's point of view, at my age, hell, I ain't got no time to be giving nobody at this point in my life. I guess we had a lot more balls back then. You know? But the reality of it is, the bulldog is still here. And it's going to be whatever you want him to be, if you're willing to put in that work. Because we're always going to speak on the behalf of the dog. The men always going to change, but that bulldog going to be exactly what he is, a damn bulldog. So, based on the show tonight, the need to know, I hope you get a chance to sit back and just think about what was said and what was shown to you and how things really did change. Go back and put both shows together and you'll see there was a whole lot of change. And to what degree? And look at the names. Think about the next 4 years when everything just finally ended. When I say ended, I mean by the way they used to do shit. And what it looks like 20-something plus years later, because y'all living in it right now. That's 20 years from that point, 20 plus. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. This game was never meant for everybody. All we're going to sit here and do is enjoy just a time that we had a chance to live through. It's the people we had, you know, the opportunity to meet. I mean, for all my bulldoggers out there who happen to be one of them names, you know, had a part to do with some of the things that you've seen, they know what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of you guys in the chat know a lot about what we talk about. And you got to admit, it's a great feeling just to be able to talk about it. Just to ever remember, and you knew what that dog was. You had a litter mate. You had some shit off of him. Damn good dogs. Yeah, that's where we get our enjoyment, because I can guarantee if they had it, they was proud of what they had. And to be proud of what you had in them time periods, you can best believe they had every right to be proud of what they had. And that to me is just a different feeling when you bulldogging. But you need to know the good and the bad, fellas. Understand and respect that. I hate to hear people talk down on that. You know, but it's an addiction. And I share that addiction. So trust and believe. That bulldog can be addictive, but be addictive in a different way when it's possible. From there, don't act like you don't know, because we sure enough told you. And if you listen, you will seriously take what we're saying and really think about it, because 20 years later, it did get worse. Y'all hear this stupid time. Come on. Respect your show for what it's trying to tell you. Sometimes it is a need to know. That's the best way to make the decisions you want to make when it comes down to dealing with these dogs. Don't have to lie about it. Don't have to argue about it. Ain't never been something I always felt like in our time, you want to argue about something? Shit, we can figure this out real quick. Back and forth always had a solution in the end. All the talk stop and facts become what they are, the truth. The truth is it happened. The results is we had a winner and a loser. That's competition, fellas. That's competition, man. So respect that. Give me some love. Give me some thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. And to all my dog men out there who feel me, y'all know what it felt like. Y'all was part of that big long ass list. We ain't gonna say no names. Give your damn self some roses. Roses. You need them roses.
Yes,
Show
sir.
yourself some love tonight,
Yes,
fellas.
sir. Yes, sir.
Because we enjoying it, because we was always gonna be a part of it. And you can't get away from it. All you can do is sit back and just respect it. Because that's what we call bulldog. So again, I got to get some big shout out to my man Anthropology. I feel you, fam. Yes, sir. Tennessee Dog Pound had that pure Kobe bitch that was beyond ROM. You always, you know your shit out there, because we talk about Tennessee Dog Pound, and we always told y'all the people that y'all hearing them raps, man, they really they lit to us. You see, we try to shine some light on it by giving you some names, but if you pay close attention, you'll see why we talk about them. Because them ones, they had some bulldogs and they was climbing over that wall. Period. Come on now. And they had no problem doing it. That's why it's when y'all guys be talking about them, and some of you guys know, that means you was back there. You understand where we're coming from. You know that feeling. Y'all know how it was. That's when the block was. You know what I'm saying? And I just not gonna let y'all disrespect it like that, because hey, man, sometimes can't never get back to that. Because there was so many of us doing it. It would be just totally, no, it just can't never get back to that. it's okay to sit back here and enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm at that age, I can't do like Pat and all them. No. We're going to breed good dogs. And we know what a good dog look like. So, you know our way of thinking. And just understanding just in that little conversation. You know what a good dog look like, you never forget. So that holds a lot of weight. And if you're putting some work in, you'll know what a good one look like too. Because when you got the right one, you don't have no problem getting out there in that competition. I'd say go ahead, jump out there and support the people that's really trying to do it right, because we're going to always respect the bulldog for what it is. It's going to be a bulldog. But it does pay to do something right with them. Because y'all not going to have 20-something plus years to stop and remember all of this when it's all gone. See, at least we got them 20 years to go back and just talk about a whole lot of shit. But moving forward, I wouldn't see myself trying to do it. Into the now, no. 20 plus years, you don't know what this country going to be like. You already know what it look like now. You already see it. They're just trying to really actually eliminate the American Pit Bull Terrier, period. But, hey, the dog going to outlast everybody. It has done up to this time. And the dog men and the dog women still going to exist. And the dog lovers of these pit bulls, because I tell you, I see them everywhere. Sometimes they looking like bullies and all kinds of shit. They think they, I know what a real bulldog look like. So, but a lot of that bully shit, they just bullies, pretty blue and all that color shit. But a real bulldog, you can see it's a difference when he walking down the street. You still a greenhorn if you don't know the difference. So, enjoy the show, man. I enjoyed actually doing it with y'all. It was really meant to be something informative. That's why we call this series a need to know, because sometimes you just really need to know. Actually, first where you come from, where they came from, how they got there. Look at the run. Just when you see Jeep and Chinaman and Banjo, all these dogs, these great dogs in the 4th generation, man, think about that time. Look at the dogs the folks was running. You see why them sorrel dogs was able to still maintain throughout them years. Because when they drop one, they drop one. And when they dropped one, it was one that got dropped and it was going to get talked about. A sorrel dog, when you see one with them cropped ears, and get in there and beat your ass. And you want to know why they still are, they still popular, because they did what everybody else was doing. They were showing you they had some shit. And that's what we call bulldogging. Don't hate it, respect it, because that's where it comes from. And it's our job to make sure y'all don't forget that. Big shout out to my brothers in the house. They back to back. For Lauderdale D coming through like he always do, brother, letting us know I'm out here. Good show, fellas, when he dropped them roses. And of course, my main man, and I represent Super Kennels every chance I get, because again, fellas, y'all see where it started at. They are who they are. And to be over here enjoying it and giving me roses, that means that this is a job well done. And I have the stamp of approval for one of the greatest kennels of all times. The greatest kennel of all time. I got to give STP they love, because it took a hell of a motherfucking job to break that record. So you're always going to get that respect. But to say, I know Super Kennels, and they in this chat room showing the love. Damn right I got a big head. Look, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all know how this shit go down. Stay out the way. Support, and I say this with open arms, support some of the people that's trying to do the right thing, because they really need it, because they at least trying to do something. And how you gonna knock that? One of the most important things, integrity. You know what I'm saying? The honesty, the truthful shit, but that integrity holds a lot of weight, man. Don't talk about it. Get up on your job and be about it. Remember, man, if you're putting in that work, and you got that feeling, you know, you got to get that feeling. You know what I mean? That one when you dog become as one, you understand why we be talking about you always. It becomes part of your natural thinking. You better to learn to always. You out there, Mo?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
You already know how we doing it. We always scratch the wing. Y'all know what's up. Don't forget to hit that like button. Big shout out to all my people in the Shark Tank. Appreciate you guys for showing the love. Pit Dog, still running them. Still hollering. No, I hate to shut y'all down like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to my man J-Bo. Cedric, Cameron, I see you, fam. Yeah, I see you. Let me see what else I got out here. Man, we're Holy Catcher. I seen you tonight, fam, hanging in there. You know what you talk about, fam. Yeah, we do look at pedigrees. We look at pedigrees all the time. You know, check out some of the videos. But every drop through, when we dropping pedigrees, homeboy come by. You know, Holy, we definitely will drop pedigrees. We known to dropping pedigrees. Big shout out to my man Cosmon Cal TV. I seen you, fam. I think I wanted to stop from going up a whole list. But fellas, appreciate the love. But you know what? You got to get out of here. Okay? So until Friday, y'all stay straight, because we is.
Yeah. Better know my head, but don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pit bulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it. Most wanted kennels in the spotlight. Danger alert come with the name. Super Kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work Kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, just that real yard grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the pit bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Veer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah, the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same ground, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legend of doom, behind set tone. Loctite, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. Fruit colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game deal, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down, ram in the dark. DSK and metal, high dog, pound by hard. When they hit, praise to the men who rock this shit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they live it. Fat boy the legend, Bill Buster, real strong. Southern bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like a Sherman tank. Little fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary and little shit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it.
That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends, everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Boom, boom, boom.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bullshit, 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 pit bullshit.
We in the trenches, feel that hunger in the air.
Yeah. Welcome to the yard. If you're tough, you can stare. Yeah, welcome to the yard. Where the chain spots shine, bloodlines run deep, every pedigree's prime. The Game APBT, worldwide pride. You come correct, or stay the hell outside, legacy made. We grind, we hustle. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike locked in the scuffle. Yeah, we run the yard, iron fists and grit. When the sun comes up, no, we never gon' quit. Dudo and Devo, legends carved in stone. Patrick Bolio made the yard they home. Tanned and yellow, they whisper through the trees. Echoes of greatness, feel that legacy breeze. Going hard, yeah, we run this yard. Nothing but the best. We don't play it soft, bloodline stack heavy 52, way so strong in this dog-eat-dog world. We know where we belong, the yard where greatness prevails. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes, all on the deal. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. Tails in the dirt, every chain spot turn, lessons learned hard. Like the scars we earn, no shortcuts taken. Champions ain't bought, just blood and sweat. This legacy taught from Mayday to Ace, Buck to G. Every warrior counts, we ain't losing no sleep. Heat like a furnace, knowledge is the key. In the yard we trust, we got the pedigree. Feel the intensity, blaze in the fight. In the shadows of the yard, we rewrite the night. From the ring to the chain, we like kings cut out. Mo and Mike, every victory's what we shout. Going hard, yeah, we run this yard. Nothing but the best. We don't play it all, bloodline stacked heavy 52, way so strong in this dog-eat-dog world. We know where we belong, the yard in the dirt. Yeah, knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. Y'all in the dirt. Yeah, knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. Yeah, legacy in the dirt. Yeah, to that fame. The Game APBT. Remember the name, so step back. If you can't handle the heat, the yard's going hard. Put the game on repeat. It's Mo and Mike. The kings in this game, going hard. Kennels forever reign the same, nigga. Yeah. Ciao. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. From yellow Mayday Ace, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turn. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday Ace, turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree, Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec, it's 6. Yes. Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah, I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
Yeah. It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends, paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. LaMayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier. Champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch two and don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch two and don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch two and don't talk me about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the.
There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Rob.
Ooh.